We've seen a couple different strategies. We've seen people come into the start box late. We've seen people come in early and try to control the pace. For my money, it seems like if you get in the back, well, you keep your fingers crossed that there's going to be an opening and Moses and they're going to part the Red Sea and you're going to find a way to mark number one.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, isn't it? It's hard to control where the opposition are going to go. I think if you come back sort of leading, you've got the best chance of a consistent start. If you're out the back early, France, Spain at the moment, you might get a shot at the bottom of the line. You might get a gap, but might is not necessarily a great word to have in a consistent strategy. We can see there, right-hand side of the screens where the start line is. Spain are up and foiling already out the back on the foils, trying to find a gap. There will be a gap for them below Australia if they're quick and if they can block the British team. It's all about acceleration here. Black foils, middle of the line, well positioned. Canada, middle of the line, well positioned. We're watching for that line to turn white, and it's all going to be about acceleration here. Rockwool, Denmark, minded up. They're going to be bang on time. Here we go. Beautiful by Rockwool, Denmark, so fast. Emirates, Great Britain again find a gap at the bottom of the line, but they won't have as fast an angle to mark one as the Danes.
Hey, little soft, okay, big puff on in 3.
Big gust coming at Mark 1 here, Todd. Watch the speeds at the top of the mast.
4, 3, 2, 1, bang away.
And at mark number 1, it is Rockwool, Denmark, as they get the whole shot, and they go over 103.
Oh, what a moment. Fastest speed in SailGP ever.
USA goes triple digits as well.
They'd have been loose as a goose round there, Todd. Now, can they settle things up again? Try and set up for this next maneuver. Crucial here.
That was cool.
Triple digits is cool indeed. You have to go back to season 3, day 1 of Saint-Tropez. France had the official speed mark at 99.97. No more. It now belongs to Rockwool, Denmark.
And turning. And yours.
So big speeds all across the board. Stevie, you saw it coming, you predicted it perfectly, and now the race is on. How do you maintain your position? How do you keep away from the rest of the crowd? And how do you hold off and pick up a win?
Big right gate bias in this lefty.
Okay, that's the coach there. Slightly different picture in there. It's Ian Williams, the coach of World Match Race Champion. He's actually going left turn, so the gain is to a right turn, is what Ian said. Good news for the Spanish, but I think you do try and keep it simple if you're on board Denmark, and it's now about locking in, getting speed, getting space, but it's Los Gallos that are going to have the attack here. Good move for Spain, potential, get themselves right back in the race moment.
Yeah, that's right. It looks like the breeze is up again at the bottom of the track here. So, you know, making that decision, do you take the easy option or do you take the slight bias? It's not always easy because these decisions come up so quickly.
Looks like it's a split on the fleet. Half and half go either way. So for the inside knowledge, we go down on the water. Lisa Darmanin, where would you have gone and what are the conditions like right now?
As Hannah says, the conditions have picked up. I think that left turn, even though there was the favour, just being on that side of the course where Denmark is, has always brought you a nice angle back. So, oh, actually, the Spanish have just tacked and they're looking really good.
Well, that was what we heard as the bias there. Andy, we're hearing that, you know, we can hear the coaches out on the water talking, sorry, not on the water, they're on the land, but they're talking to the sailors. How much of a game changer has that been where you can actually have your coach giving you that information from the shoreline?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, they're sitting there ashore, super calm. They can see the big picture and they can sort of see the geometry of the course and what other boats are doing as well. So they can really identify some key things that the team can focus on in racing.
And how much pressure are you feeling now that the Danish have just set 103 as the top speed ever in SailGP?
Mate, it's awesome. On these wings with these high-speed rudders and these new T-foils, the boats are going to go bloody quick, and it was cool just to hear how calm and composed TJ and the rest of Rockwool were when they hit that speed, and then they just settled into a nice downwind rhythm, so it was really cool to see.
Nikolai Sehested, Dana Koons, Tom Johnson take a bow as they go 103. Andy, I know we give all credit to the flight controllers for getting that kind of speed, but at that kind of speed, I mean, we're talking 90s and up. What's that like as a flight controller? What's the ride like?
I think you're pretty zoned in and pretty dialed in at the time. You're just trying to think about what you're doing and think about the next move. You don't really think too much about it at the time, but after racing, I'm sure Rasmus will enjoy looking back on that one and enjoy the memories.
Here we go, as we get to the top of the course. What is interesting is I don't know if the Spanish were dialed into the Danish coach, but they've sailed the exact upwind leg that coach of Denmark, Ian Williams, called for with the right turn at the bottom, and it's been a big gain. We can see here, it looks to me like the right turn's further downwind, so the Bons Flying Rouge are going to sail less distance here, but will the Spanish put themselves in more wind?
So a change at the top of the leaderboard as the Bons Flying Rouge take advantage to sail less distance. And look at the speed now on the mast of the USA as they touch it to 90 kilometers an hour as they do that bareway. And now it is on downwind. After gate number 3, you've got Australia, Rockwool, Denmark, the USA top 3, and Los Gallos, Spain in 4th.
The USA are having a huge day, aren't they? They're sailing very, very well out there. Looks to me like Los Gallos have picked the best breeze there. They're in a massive patch of wind on the bottom right-hand corner of our screen. They're going to get boosted down the racetrack here, going nearly 7 or 8 kilometers an hour faster. But when they come back together with Australia, it'll be the Australians with the right of way, so they've got to be picture perfect in this next maneuver on board the Spanish boat.
You can see how much progress the Bons Flying Rouge are making down the course. They're almost going 90 degrees to those ladder lines, so not only in good pressure, but good wind angle as well for them.
Look like the only issue at this stage. And board, tip 3.
Constant communications on board as you hear Los Gallos, the Spanish, now moving into 2nd place. And it's a precarious position right now as they make their turn. They'll drop back. It'll be the Vikings that are now in 1st place, fresh off their top speed performance at mark number 1, 103.93 officially.
Yeah, it's pretty quick here. Right of way, Australia. Oh, Slingsby spins it right in front of him. It's going to be Slingsby set for the left turn in front of Rockwool, Denmark. Does anyone take a brave move? Very hard to go right for the Spanish from here. Again, it looks good to a right turn if you can do it, but a very tricky boat handling manoeuvre if Spain could hope to do that. Could be opportunity for Canada here. North Star Canada are going to get to turn right. I think they'll get themselves right back in the challenge here.
Bons Flying Rouge, Rockwool, Denmark, and Spain all up for that left-hand side. US SailGP does it, and Stevie, to your point, Giles Scott and North Star, they go for the right side.
They're going to split the course here now. What do we think, Lisa? Are they sailing to more breeze out there, the Canadians?
They are sailing to more breeze right now, but I think they're going to find it hard to come back across because there's this big patch of light spot in the middle of the course now.
Big line, boys.
It's pretty hard to be consistent out there, Todd. And Andy, I wonder at this stage of the event, how much of the teams be happy to just get a top 3 in this race?
Yeah, I mean, you're always pushing for the win, right? But top 4s, top 5s across the course of the event, you're going to be in that final. So I think top 4s people will be really happy with.
So we've got 5 teams right now, all within about 100 meters of each other, with Rockwool, Denmark, the Bons Flying Rouge, Los Gallos, Spain, North Star Canada, and US SailGP holding those top 5 winning tickets. And Emirates GBR still lurking there in 6th.
Oh, what a great shot here. Look at the Australians all really low down, looking to minimise the windage. They're all kneeling down inside the boat, and it's an absolute arm wrestle boat speed-wise with Rockwool, Denmark here. We'll see how it turns out. It looks good for the Bons Flying Rouge at the moment. They're coming back with the right of way, and they've been fast across there.
So Giles Scott and North Star, they're going to have to pick their way through this traffic jam.
Yeah, they've gained some distance, though, with that turn. So they've not got the right of way. As you say, they find the gap through, but North Star are going to be right in it at the top of the course. They've made a big gain on this upwind leg with that right turn at the bottom.
So the Canadians roll the dice, and we're yet to find out if it's going to turn out to be a Yahtzee move or not. Do they have another maneuver, or can they lay this into the gate?
I don't think they'll make the gate in one, Todd. It's probably one more manoeuvre from here, but they're going to come back with the right of way. So whatever happens, they've put themselves right in the chance here. Can they make this final mark with no more manoeuvres? They're going to be diving in at the top, I think.
2-time Olympic gold medalist in the fin class, Giles Scott at the wheel.
More press, please.
There we go, CJ wing trimmer there. He's calling for them to press. They've got a righty, but unfortunately the Australians have got a lefty. You can be in different bits of the course in very different winds. Canada aren't going to make it happen here. And the Bons Flying Rouge, well, they're going to get it done.
Coming down here in 2, 1. Coming down.
Around the gate they go, and it is Tom Slingsby and the Bons Flying Rouge that judge it just perfectly with the Vikings in tow. They may have the highest speed, but the wind is going to go the way of the Bons Flying Rouge in race number 3. Tom Slingsby and the Australians take it in Sassnitz.
There's tight back in the pack behind them. Here we can see North Star and the United States. North Star have got to keep clear at the moment. United States on the inside. Now they've got to give them room, but Taylor Canfield's got it done. In the pack, look at the black foils, 11th. Great Britain 10th. This opens the weekend wide up here at the moment. People are hemorrhaging points very, very quickly.
What a difference one leg can make as the Australians burst their way up and take the win.
Oh, the black foils spin inside here, and they're right inside the Swiss, but I think it's going to be black foils 10th, Emirates Great Britain all the way back in 11th. Wow, the points are going to rack up massively after this race.
A big shake-up across the leaderboard as Emirates GBR looked to be in a top 6 position, Stevie, as they were coming up win here on leg 5 of 6, and then they just dropped like a rock back to 11.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, I don't want to make Andy sound too good, but he did. As soon as you get out of shape and you're not able to do your plan, it's very quickly to lose a lot of distance here. We can see the black foils really slow across the line there. Not sure what's happened with them. I think they just stayed ahead of the British, but oh, it was a slow moment. Yeah, you get out of phase and you lose distance real fast.
So the teams are getting themselves into position, and they will begin the dance before the start of race number 1. Race number 1 set to go here at the Emirates Great Britain Sail Grand Prix, Portsmouth, part of the Rolex SailGP Championship. And this will be critical, Stevie. You could have absolute carnage because of the way this course is set up.
Just such a short sprint to Mark 1 and then an even shorter sprint to Gate 2. We see the boats coming back, and I like Canada's move here. The late tack in, you can see the favoured triangle lines on there. The blue pathway shows us the optimum place to start. Our Rolex pole predictor sits on board Spain at the moment, but I think Canada have got the control in position. New Zealand, it's aggressive from Burling up at the top of the line. He's going to need to be oh so fast to get over the fleet from here. Spain and Canada are in the pole position, but who's going to get their timing right? Line to the right-hand side of our screen will turn white when we're good to go. United States winded up. Switzerland winded up. New Zealand at the top of the line are so fast. Ooh. Brilliant from Dylan Fletcher and Emirates Great Britain. He's going to lead at Mark 1 from here in New Zealand. Well, they're going to be on the outside of the bend, and it's going to be hard for Burling and co. They're going to need to be very, very fast. Early manoeuvre coming for Emirates Great Britain.
At mark number 1, it's the home team, Emirates GBR, that have the lead.
Oh, look how fast the Kiwis have gone there as well. Rottwell Denmark, though, aggressive. Sehested holds them wide. Spain dive on the inside, and it's now a sprint to Gate 2. The fans are going to get a great view, but look how congested the fleet is here. Great Britain are going to take a left turn. Keep it simple. We heard Fletcher say that. Anticipate here, Burling doing an extra manoeuvre and turning right to try and clear the traffic.
And keep an eye on those channel markers as they get to Gate number 2. Look at this as they come around there. Hannah Diamond, you know these waters maybe better than anyone else. This is a tricky race course with all the race furniture out there.
Yeah, really tricky race course, and of course no practice racing yesterday, so this will be the first look at the course for a lot of these teams.
Really tight in at the bottom there, isn't it? And I think we can see Emirates Great Britain have kept it simple. I think when you're out in the lead, that's the sort of standard thing to do, really. Try and find that little bit of space, minimise manoeuvres. But Lisa, we've seen Great Britain turn left, New Zealand turn right. Do you fancy either side of the course?
I actually really like where the New Zealand team is going. In general, where the British were is the lightest part of the race course. So I would say favourites in New Zealand right now. But, you know, the Brits and the locals surely know they know what they're doing.
More pressure coming in 10.
I think interesting at the moment, we see we're coming on board here. Nick Hutton, he's the only one on the handles. Big pressure weekend for Hannah and Dylan at the back of the boat there. We can hear Hannah and Dylan, good communication going on, but they need to get things happening because they've had a disappointing middle of the season.
Another unique part of this course right here, you're going to see Spitbank Fort coming into view just on the right-hand side, and that's another big obstacle they're going to have to avoid throughout this race.
We love a roundabout in Great Britain, though, don't we, Hannah?
Yeah, that's right, but you've got to watch out for that wind shadow it produces. Looks like Emirates Great Britain have just managed to get to the windward side of Spitbank Fort, so no issue for them there.
New Zealand look like just about managed to sort of cement that third position. They were in a big pressure position round Mark 1, but they've done well in Spain. We've seen how fast Spain have been getting through the season. But look at this leaderboard on the left there.
Yep.
The Bond Flying Rouge, Australia, they're up to 8th, but they were in last at Gate 2. Not the start Slingsby would have wanted.
Obviously left small bias, but I think we're good, eh? I think we're good.
So leg 3 of 7 as they made their way to gate number 3. It is Emirates GBR that have the lead. Rockwell Denmark sits in second. The Black Foals of New Zealand third. Then the winners of the last 2 events and the defending champions from season 4, Spain, sit in fourth.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big lead for Great Britain now. I think Emirates Great Britain from here, they're just minimising those manoeuvres, Hannah, and just trying to maximise speed around the course, really.
Yeah, that's right, and trying to, just like you say, try and keep it really simple, and that's obviously paid dividends for them so far. The fleet's going to get a bit compacted as we come into top gate 3 here, with the Kiwis coming in on starboard.
Switzerland need to keep clear. And now right of way New Zealand, Switzerland, oh, that was an aggressive turn in front there, but the Kiwis have just kept it round the outside. Spain are entitled to room inside Switzerland here, but they probably choose to go straight and keep themselves in some space.
So we've seen a bit of a difference in kind of strategy here. Emirates Great Britain have got Hannah Mills at the back of the boat in that strategy role. A lot of the others with 5 people on board have chosen to have their strategists move forward to that grinding position. Strategy's key, we know that, and it's paying off for them so far.
Massive lead here on race number 1. We're scheduled for 4 today. This is just leg 4 of 7. It's the home team, Emirates GBR, out in front. Now remember, they currently sit in 4th place overall on 41 points, but they're only 5 points out of 1st place, which is currently being held by the Spanish.
Top 6 boats overall, there's nothing between them really, is there? Spain have looked like the form boat in recent times, and they're right in the mix here, Spain. Again, remember, it's all about consistency at this point of view. As we see our SailGP insights, we dive up into the Oracle Cloud. What's the wind speed looking like? Well, it's pretty similar across the course, really. Great Britain and Denmark, somewhat unsurprisingly, they're in a similar patch of water. They've got similar wind speed.
Wing up here, Nick, before we turn. Okay, nice, mate. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1.
It doesn't get much more smoother than that, Hannah. A lot of calm conversations on board with a big lead. It was 9 seconds at the last gate, and now as they approach the DP World Gate at the bottom of the course, Denmark will come through, and they will trip it. It's now they've lost 3 more seconds, so they're 12 seconds behind the leaders.
And this is a dream situation when you're leading. You've got all the boats behind you following with that left turn. Makes it really nice and easy to cover the boats behind you.
And I think if you're in the first 3, you're fine, you're happy, that's a good result. Great start to the regatta. I think when you're 7th, 8th, United States, Australia, here we see Switzerland, they may be going to split the course and try and find space on the other side. It's when you're in the pack that you're maybe slightly compromised by the other boats ahead of you, and you have to look to try and force something. What's Slingsby going to do? Is he going to follow, or will he try and work some magic?
Our star Canada, Giles Scott, has made some improvements. They are now up to 5th place, and just as Stevie predicted, it's Tom Slingsby not liking what he saw on that left-hand side, did not want to follow the Americans or the Canadians, so he has opted to split the course and go to the right.
Yeah, if he followed the United States there, it'd be in disturbed wind, effectively less horsepower going into the rig. You're just definitely going to go slower, so he's opted to sail a bit more distance, find a bit more space, and see if they can use what we know to be one of the fastest boats on the race course, or fastest teams, we should say. All the boats are identical, of course.
Meanwhile, it's Emirates GBR out in front. Their lead over 100 meters over Rockwell, Denmark, who sit in 2nd place. The Kiwis sit in 3rd, Spain in 4th. Switzerland has now moved up to 5th, overtaken US SailGP, who have dropped down to 6th. Well, here was the start one more time. Keep your eye on Spain on the right side of your screen.
Yeah, right on the inside, and that's what they've done quite well this season. Is often your position at Mark 1 can be, 3rd, 4th or 5th, but it's whether you can then decide your own tactics, and to do that you want to be on the inside. Wow, look how close that was, Italy. Ruggiero Tita had to make a really dramatic move. As we can see, it's getting a bit loose on board the Spanish boat. That's an unforced error. They got a bit too high on the foil. Joel Rodriguez there just flying the boat a little high. Oh, it got very, very loose on that downwind, and that was a lot of distance. That could be the difference between them being ahead of New Zealand and not at this stage of the race.
So that was back at the start of race number 1. Remember, we've got 4 races for you today, 4 fleet races. And as everyone tries to build their account as many points as they can, and then after 3 more races tomorrow, it is the event final where only the top 3 teams will compete.
Had an overtake there, Todd. New Zealand found a bit more wind away from the shore there, on the side of the course that Lisa liked on this upwind leg. And we're just downwind now from here, so that could be a fairly crucial moment. We see Rockwell Denmark, well, they're fast, but they're going to pin themselves outside here. Very much the controlling position here with New Zealand, but Rockwell Denmark's on fire. Look how fast.
Like 6 of 7 in race number 1. There you see more of the obstacles, the channel markers out on this course. Good time to check in one more time with Lisa Darmanin down on the water. Lisa, you talked about the favorite spot of the course early in this race. Has it changed at all, and what's the forecast for the rest of the day?
So it's quite gusty out here, Todd, and shifty. So I think the British are doing a really good job of going to better breeze and getting the good angle. But talking to the sailors before the race, they're saying there's so many obstacles out here. So if the wind's not hard enough, the boats aren't hard enough, they've got to choose where to go on either side of these islands and pylons. So it's a real minefield out here, but it's a masterclass by the British.
And Hannah, you talk about it, you made the point, there was no practice racing yesterday because there was not enough wind. So for some of these sailors, this is literally their first chance to race.
Yeah, that's right, a bit of a baptism of fire. And you can see the Brits just come around that last mark there as they're on the way to the finish. Real
this is going to be a pretty special moment here, isn't it, in front of the home fans?
And what a way to start off your home regatta. Race number 1 at the Emirates Great Britain Sail Grand Prix Portsmouth goes the way of the home team. Emirates GBR take the win.
What a start to that race by Emirates Great Britain. Absolutely brilliant. It's going to be really tight between New Zealand and Rockwool Denmark. I think New Zealand managed to just dive inside. Burling judged his lay line into that bottom mark perfectly because Rockwool Denmark had gone round the outside. They'd gone further faster, but controlling position with the black foils, and they're going to bring it home in second place here.
Pete Burling and company showing their class. They take second. Rockwool Denmark, they needed those points in a big-time way. They currently sit 8th overall. Remember, they've had penalties earlier in the season, so they need to get points in a big hurry. And then it's Spain, the winner of the last 2 events, and the current leaders overall sitting on 46 points. They will pick up a 4th. Room for improvement there, Stevie, but they still look very good. And the Swiss coming in top 5.
Yeah, and remember, it's all about getting to that top 3 tomorrow. So it's about consistency at this point. So I'd say all these teams, probably even Canada, are going to be happy enough with that. They've not had a shocker. They've had an all right start. Of course, Emirates Great Britain are going to be over the moon, aren't they? Giles Scott, another, Canadian, but of course he's done a lot of sailing in Portsmouth himself here because the Canadian boat brings it across the finish line. So another team that'll have a lot of local support, I'm sure.
And the Bonds Flying Roos, they will finish in 7th. Tom Slingsby hoping that'll be their worst result of the 7 fleet races. Italy and Red Bull Italy and Ruggiero Tita, they'll check in at 8th place, so they had some improvements. And now you've got a battle between the Brazilians and the Americans coming down for that next position. This is a valuable point, and look at Taylor Canfield. He's pushing them.
He did a good push there, Todd, didn't he? Great push by the US team there. Brazil had to keep clear, and you don't mess with a world match race champion in that sort of situation.
So Taylor Canfield comes through. They will pick up that extra point over Martini Grail and Mubadala Brazil. And the Germans, now remember, there's just 11 teams out of the water because of France's incident early on, and they will pick up no points.
Yeah, you can see there's really good pressure coming down the course now, but one of the difficult things is things are changing so quickly. So just because there's pressure in the start box now, it doesn't mean it's going to hold until start time.
And we'll check in shortly with Lisa Darmanin, who is down on the water for the latest information, Stevie. All right, here we go. We're coming up on 40 seconds, and you've had 2 chances to crack the code on this one. What do you want to do on your 3rd attempt?
Well, I think what I liked was Canada had space. Interesting, they've come back early into the box again. So similar strategy to what got them to Mark 1 first the last time. The pole position is down the line. The trouble is, if you're in that group of boats, you're lacking a lot of control. So black foils in Canada, well positioned right now. Emirates Great Britain, they've got a bit of a fight on. They are well positioned, but can they accelerate? Rolex pole predictors on board Spain here. The wind is rotated a long, long way right. Bad news for Canada. Black foils might thread the needle here. It's all going to be about winding it up into the start. Los Gallos have control. USA and Canada are out. Oh, the black foils, he's threaded the needle through there. What a start by Burling, what a start by Bottin, and now these two are in a straight arm wrestle fight towards Mark 1.
With just 11 boats in the start box, Mubadala Brazil out because of hydraulic issues. Canada, North Star, and the United States also took themselves out, so plenty of room at the front of the spear. And here we go at mark number 1, and it looks like Red Bull Italy's got the prime location.
Yeah, Spain gave a little nudge to the Kiwis there, sailed a bit high, and in doing so took themselves out of it. Ruggie Tita there, he's done a great job of taking advantage, but potentially slow to manoeuvre out of mark 1 here. Has he got himself in good breeze?
Angle.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of times that going all the way to the boundary there has worked, but a couple of times it hasn't. So they've kind of taken a little bit of risk there. And you see Germany coming down the screen really nicely and some good pressure there.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is when these gusts come through, that it's a big shift towards the right, bottom right-hand corner of our screen, and that's where Germany are. They're sailing nearly straight down the course. Massive gain, and you can see the black foils look like they were leading off the start. They're 8th, got pushed really wide here, now straight down the course for those first 3 boats. But we know that it's going to change from here. You can see right-hand side of screen, there's less wind. That's where they're going to go back to in a minute. So how do you set yourself up strategically to get through that light wind patch quickly?
At gate 2, the DP World Gate, it is Germany Deutsche Bank that is in the lead. France now making their presence felt here on home waters. They'll tuck into 2nd, and Red Bull Italy will round the corner, and they will sit in 3rd.
Pretty much a complete flip in the fleet there. Everyone that manoeuvred quickly at Mark 1's made a massive gain. The black foils have managed to save it. They're in 6th. They're in the mix. And Australia, well, they've got work to do as well. The points are crazy up and down here. Can the Germans make it stick from here and turn this one into a race win?
Look at Canada and the USA, Stevie. I don't know what was going on there, but they forced each other and they got off course, had to do a full 180 to get back in the box.
Yeah, it's just a big wind shift. The wind turned hard to the right and suddenly they were out of the limits of that start box. The whole fleet was blocking them. They're in bad shape. So we're going to come in and have a look at the replay on the United States. We can see that they can't go over the line early. That mark to the left was the mark there, but the fleet was stopping them from going through it. So it was a big shift in the wind. A little bit unlucky in some ways. They did position themselves at high risk. We saw that Canada led at Mark 1 in race 2, but they've got to take a bit of risk if you want to lead normally. And Lisa, it's pretty shifty down there.
Oh, it's so shifty, and I mean, there's big mountains all around Saint-Tropez, which is beautiful, but it's really playing with the wind. And where the start box is, it's so hard to predict what's going to happen. The course right now, that Saint-Tropez side, where Switzerland is right now, that's where the best pressure is. There's really nice big gust over there. But as they move towards this gate, where that start box is, it gets to get more fickle, more erratic, and you have to be super dynamic.
And I think the operative word there, Hannah Diamond, and what Lisa said is erratic. Is what you had moments ago may not be there in 5-10 seconds. And what you did in the last race is going to have really no bearing on what you do in the next race.
Yeah, that's right. These sailors are really having to think on their feet. So not only for the strategists, but also it changes how you sail the boat. So for the flight controllers, the wing trimmers, they're really having to adapt to these conditions. And you'll see that the people that adapt quickest are the ones that generally keep their average boat speed nice and high.
Germany has fallen back, Stevie. The German team is now sitting in 4th. It is France, the home team, that's out in front. Red Bull Italy in 2nd. And Emirates GBR, once again, Stevie, a consistent team, always in the top 5.
Well, they are. If we go here and look at the Oracle Cloud for the data, we can see Emirates Great Britain, they're converting poor results into good ones. That's what's a good thing. But they're doing that by staying in space. Germany manoeuvred in a weird position for me then. They tacked right in the pack, and now they're suffering. They were a bit of a slammer high. Slice of ham in a sandwich there, easy for me to say that, but and they just dropped right out of it. They're squeezed, couldn't sail their mode. I think the key in this condition is manoeuvre when you're in pressure, but try and keep yourself in space to sail fast. That's what New Zealand have done. They've got themselves right back in the race by getting a bit of space here. They're still in the pack, but they're going to be splitting from the fleet at this top gate. They'll be challenging hard on that Italian boat.
Oh, look at Spain cutting to the inside of the French.
Is the gas coming now?
Looking for the pressure.
They are looking for the pressure, Todd, and we can see that big gust of wind on the black foils, and again they're in space, so they're going to be chasing really hard. It looks like pretty good breeze where the black foils are heading at the moment. Yeah, the fact that Burling's happy to go all the way suggests he's happy with his decision. He's not thinking, okay, we got this wrong and we're going to have to get out of here pretty quick.
Keep your eye on the Bonds Flying Roos. They are currently sitting in 7th place. Remember, they won race number 1, but they came back with a 10th in race number 2. And as we all know, Hannah and Stevie, you can have one bad race, you really can't have 2.
No, you can't, although I think at this event it's going to be pretty hard not to have some bad results. This could be very, very high scoring. Here we go. Let's have a look at the breeze here. There's a little bit more breeze on the Spanish side of the course at the moment. 2 kilometres an hour more wind. That's converting to a pretty good boat speed for them. But right of ways with Italy. So Italy, good lead. And it looks like the black foils could be up to 3rd. Looks like a gain at the moment for the right turn at the top.
Okay, guys.
And in these conditions, it's going to be really easy to focus on how you're sailing the boat, lose the sight of that kind of bigger picture, and that's where you're going to make those gains with strategy. It's easier said than done, though, isn't it? When boats are hard to sail, you've got distractions with boats around you, but being able to look out for that pressure is really important.
What's interesting here is New Zealand have sailed this race, as of Italy, with the intention of going left at this last downwind gate, which was where New Zealand managed to snatch the lead last turn by going left turn and then finding that big shift in the wind. So this is definitely a set play strategy by the Blackfoils, and it'll be interesting if they do roll it out and look to split from Spain at the bottom of gate 4.
It's one thing to want to do it, Stevie. It's another thing to be able to execute it amidst the 11 other boats out there, as we see Italy now making the turn of the DP World Gate. They'll head upwind, and then it'll be a left-hand turn into the finish line here in race number 3, and it's Red Bull Italy out in front. Los Gallos, Spain, sit in second. The Blackfoils in New Zealand in third, and France now currently in fourth.
So they have gone left, Spain have gone right. So Spain look like they're going to sail to pretty good breeze to me in the short term. It might not be bad news for Los Gallos, but what's off the right-hand side of our screen? That's the question. In the pack, Emirates Great Britain and the Bonds Flying Roos are in a bit of a tussle there. Big fight. They turn right at the bottom, but both boats are going to be very, very slow. Oh, if you fall off the foils, it's so painful.
And turning slowly. Really good pressure on exit.
That was the voice of Blair Toop there saying, oh no, it was Kyle, sorry, that was Kyle Langford on board the Italian boat there, wing trimmer, calling good pressure. This could well be the first ever race win for the Italians here, Todd. They've yet to win since they started out as a new team in season 5.
No announcer jinx just yet, Stevie. Leg 5 of 6 here in race number 3, and now it is fully on. Ruggiero Tito meeting up with fellow Olympic gold medalist, and it's Diego Botin who's going to have to dip in behind him, and if he can hold this line hand, it looks like the Italians are to get that first win.
Yeah, that's right. They played this last leg really nicely before they turned left towards the finish. Nice and calm on board. That's what we like to see.
Around the buoy they go, and there they see the finish line with the legend Jimmy Spithill, their CEO at command, and you've got Ruggiero Tito out in front, a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, 4-time NACRA world champion, and now you can add to his resume a winner at SailGP, and it comes in the 3rd race at the Rockwell France Sail Grand Prix, Saint-Tropez. Welcome to the show, Italy.
Oh, there'll be some ripples on the Red Bull now, won't there, out there? A windy race win, and the Italian fans go crazy. And we know one Jimmy Spittl's going to be pretty happy on that shore as well.
No question about it. One of the newest teams in the league, and a strong performance in tricky conditions. Los Gallos will finish in 2nd place, and it looks like the Blackfoils will hold on for 3rd. Now France coming in full steam ahead. They'll try to steal that 4th, and it'll be Germany Deutsche Bank in a top 5 situation. What a race, with just one more race to go here when we return to Saint-Tropez.
You could just see the sailors there loving it. That was Matt Van Dam, the grinder on the French boat. They had a tough race there, but they were just really enjoying it. And it's the Bonds Flying Roos. Tight finish here, as we can see. Emirates Great Britain are going to get across the line just ahead of Rockwell Denmark, but they all need to turn. Oh my lord! Denmark got a little high and couldn't turn up as quick as they'd like. Oh, that was tight. That seawall where the fans are is pretty good here. Oh, the Australians have got a penalty relative to the United States. They're going to be 10th again. Wow, this is a huge moment. They're my absolute favourites in the big breeze, the Australians, Todd. And they've had 2 shockers out here, and they're getting a bit loose across the finish there.
So the Americans come across behind the Australians, so a rough day after the first race. And Tom Slingsby not happy with that performance for him and his squad. Apologies for the industrial language, as North Star Canada will come across as well. Tricky conditions indeed out on the Mediterranean, but the team that conquers it in race number 3 is none other than Ruggiero Tito and Red Bull Italy.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty picture perfect out there at the moment, isn't it? We can see a couple of different strategies here. Often in this light wind, if you lead back, like Germany and USA, you can control things. Burling, bottom left-hand corner of our screen on the Blackfoils, he is definitely planning a special. He's hoping to be up on the foils and blasting over the top. There's not going to be a lot of room at the top of the line for him, though, so it could need a move and a change of plan fairly soon for the Blackfoils. They are foiling. They're going to look to dip round the outside of the whole fleet from here and try and foil all the way way through. It's all going to be about that acceleration. Germany perfectly lined up for the midline pole position there. Our Rolex pole predictor sits on board Battle of Brazil, but can they get on the foils from here? We know these new light air foils get them up and foiling well, but Burling is going all the way around the outside on the black foils. He's looking to line it up. We're looking for that line to turn white, and now it's all about timing. How's your timing, Peter Burling?
On that forwardly. Very nice start, guys.
This is the umpire's early start penalty, Australia and USA.
Oh, the black foils!
Gone.
What a start from Burling. He is gone down the road on board that boat. He lined it up 20 seconds out and he nailed it.
I think it's all right.
Delay starters Switzerland, Spain, Italy and Canada.
And as they approach mark number 1 in race number 1 here at the Rolex Switzerland Sail Grand Prix Geneva, it is all black foils. Peter Burling and company, they are checking out and get the whole shot.
I think as well, nice work by Rockwool Denmark, stayed calm, got the boat foiling, as does 2 for Emirates GBR, and I think the first 3 boats could really stretch away here.
This is the umpires. USA, you've been disqualified for barging at the windward end of the line.
Black flag.
Black flag for the Stars and Stripes.
There was no room in there. Obviously, people had to avoid them to save for damage, Hannah, and I guess just an illegal move. Fair decision.
Yeah, we haven't seen one of those for a while, have we? And kind of really unnecessary at this stage in the competition for sure. But it looks like the black foils have sort of stuck that first manoeuvre, which was always going to be a big question. They can get foiling, but can they hold it up on the foils for the first manoeuvre?
So from bad to worse for US SailGP as they are black flagged, they are DQ'd on race number 1. We're scheduled for 4 races today. At the other end of the table, it is all good news for Peter Burling and the black foils of New Zealand. Stevie, they timed that right. They sat in the back of the pack, and he just worked his way to the field and hit the line point on.
Yeah, I think they're just up and foiling. As soon as you're foiling, you're making your own wind. As you're sailing across the wind, you get what's called apparent wind. Your movement gives you more wind in itself, and that's the advantage they had. All the other boats congested together in the pack, and we'll see that as we look to the right-hand side of our screen. People struggling to foil. Germany, they've fallen off the foils. The Bonds Flying Roos are back in the game mid-pack here. But yeah, if you get stuck in the pack, there's a lot less wind, and it's a lot harder to keep the boats foiling. As we can see, France, Spain, Italy, all absolutely neck and neck. Those manoeuvres so tight. Can they stay foiling? Next manoeuvre for the black foils will be difficult. Tacking the boat, turning the boat through the wind upwind is harder to keep the boat on the foils. But we've seen, Hannah, these new light wind foils, bigger span, nearly 23% more surface area. So that's a lot more lift, a lot more glide. Let's see if it'll glide through here. Silky smooth. The magic number we believe is 28 kilometers an hour. It looks like the black foils stay foiling. Emirates GBR just managing to stay on the foils there. So, no, they're off the foils.
Sometimes it can be better to choose to put the boat back down in the water momentarily while you build the speed and then try and take off again. So actually, pretty nice tack from Emirates GBR there.
Yeah. Hannah, as someone who has sailed on an F50 before, these are crafty machines, very technical. We've dropped from 6 athletes on board to 4. How is that going to change things in the light wind?
Yeah, there's actually a last-minute change. There's only 3 people on board at the moment. So there's a lot to do on board. Obviously, the racing's happening at a slightly slower pace, but these sailors are juggling what 6 people would normally do between the 3 of them. One of the huge things is having the visibility and the space in your head just to be able to make decisions whilst taking one of the roles on board. So it's interesting to see how they split those roles, and the black foils are making it look easy at the moment.
Well, it's an aggressive move though, an extra manoeuvre, but they're keeping it on the foils. These new foils are super glidey through there. Floated it through. Rockwool Denmark will probably have to follow. Emirates GBR as well. Big lead for the black foils, and these first 3 boats are moving away here. I mean, it'd be great to get back and see that start. It was such a time moment in the race, and it was really all happening out there. As we can see, it was the difference between being at the top gate and the bottom gate for Brazil. New Zealand, the black foils, it's been a bit of a masterclass so far.
They are the current overall leaders after 9 events on 70 points, 2 points clear of Emirates GBR, who sit in 2nd overall, and the Bonds Flying Roos, the 3-time champions, sit in 3rd. Oh, Stevie, it doesn't get much better than that.
No, I mean, that was silky smooth, wasn't it? And I think what we're seeing here is when you are in the pack, it's a real street fight. Bond's Flying Rouge, 5th place now. They were really over the start line, had to drop way back at the start. They're working their way through the fleet. The Gaios there, Spain, middle of the pack. If we're talking about these top 4 boats in the race to get to the final, well, it's good news for Emirates GBR. It's good news for the black foils at the moment, but Spain, they've got work to do if they want to keep the fight alive. We're going to look bottom right-hand corner here. Here's the start. We saw the black foil slingshot round, but let's focus on the United States. Bottom of the screen there, they're trying to sneak in between the Mark and the Danish boat, but the Danish have the right of way. Denmark has to avoid a collision to let the Americans in, and that was deemed to be too reckless, too aggressive, endangering the boats, and that was a black flag penalty on the United States.
So no opportunity for the Americans to get any points here on race number 1, and that has going to put them in a massive hole. Remember, it's all about points, how many points you have at the end of 6 or 7 races, and then only the top 3 will race in the grand final. With light wind scheduled possibly tomorrow again, Hannah, I don't think you can afford to miss a race and still get into the grand final.
No, definitely not. And I think there's going to be so much learning going on board these boats with this new configuration, with the new larger T-foils. So it's going to be who learns quickest, because every race counts when it comes to trying to make the final.
And this is it, Todd. They've just got to take a left turn on that mark in the middle of our screen, and that'll be them heading across to the finish. So one more slick manoeuvre here for New Zealand, but if they're inside that yellow circle, no one's really got the right of way on them. Perfect by Burling here. Little turn, keep the boat foiling, and then bring it home in front of the fans.
It all started with a fantastic start for the black foils. They were in the back of the start box and came screaming up the first to get on their foils, and they just found their own space, and they have sailed a near perfect race here on leg 6 of 6. This is race number 1. We are scheduled for 4 today on a beautiful day in Geneva at the Rolex Switzerland Sail Grand Prix, and it will be the Emirates winning moment going the way of the black foils as New Zealand strikes first in Geneva, and they will take the first victory of the day with 3 more races still to come, but not sure what Mother Nature's going to give. So Stevie, you got to strike while you can, and that's exactly what Peter Burling and company did. The Kiwis win race 1 in Geneva.
Emirates winning moment there for the black foils. And well, yeah, quite right. We saw, you know, Mother Nature takes control. We saw that in Saint-Tropez. The event was shortened. Obviously, we hope that won't happen here as Rottwell Denmark bring it across in 2nd place. And at the moment, the Swiss have got slow at the bottom gate there. Look, we can see as Sassnitz finishing there, it was the Australians going right round the outside of the Swiss. Top side of our screen there, Australia up and foiling. The Swiss are off the foils. They were in 4th, but they could drop all the way back here. It's going to be very difficult as Emirates GBR look to bring it home.
Dylan Fletcher and Emirates GBR will claim 3rd place as they will slide across in a good performance by Tom Slingsby. The Bond's Flying Rouge not happy with 4th, but Stevie, it could have been a lot worse. They've got a penalty, and here we go.
He's going to go around us, can do what he wants.
Yeah, well, there we go. We saw that happen. Yeah, I mean, I think this event will be defined by your comebacks. Over the start line back to 4th. Tom Slingsby might well be the happiest skipper in the fleet after this race, because this race could have been an absolute disaster for them, but what a comeback.
So the 3-time champions, they will pick up a 4th place and the points that go with it, and they will look to races 2, 3, and 4 as we take you on board the Aussies. Look at this one more time, right around the Swiss.
Yeah, and you could just see the Swiss before the mark tried to force it to try and glide round that bottom gate, and well, they fell off the foils, and that was a classic example of how much faster you go when you're foiling than when you sit the boat into the water.
So New Zealand, Denmark, Great Britain, and Australia, the top 4 to cross the line here in Geneva as SailGP comes to Geneva, Switzerland for the very first time. And who will grab 5th? It looks like the Swiss will hold on for a top 5 position. France looking to finish in 6th.
That's a really good recovery for the Swiss there, because they were so slow around that last gate, and I was worried they could have easily had the wheels fall off, but they did a nice job of coming back. France in 6th, Los Gaios, well, in the race to the final, pressure's on Diego Botín. The defending champions are going to need to turn things around if they want to keep themselves in the hunt before we head to Cádiz.
They are currently 3 points out of a top 3 position after 9 events. Los Gaios of Spain, as Stevie mentioned, the defending champions. They won in San Francisco, they won in New York City, and they're going to need to turn it around, because as we've said before, you can have a bad race in 2 days of racing. You just can't have 2, and they've already got a 7th on their report card.
Solid one for France there. Good comeback by the French. They needed a good one. I think they're going to struggle, you know, to get to the final, so they're really fighting for pride, really, I think. But if they can get an event win here, well, who knows what's possible. But solid comeback for them, and I think it's going to be the story of the day. We'll see the racing go out, but if you can't get off the start line, it's going to be a very, very hard race, and just crucial that you scrap for every point you can.
I think today's going to be one of those hard days where it's just because you've had a good first race, actually, you're going to have to convert and work hard every single race to make sure you're learning and keeping up with the fleet.
Canada come across in 8th, and Germany Deutsche Bank will finish in 9th, and it looks like the Italians will round out the top 10.
Up in 3, 2, 1, heading up.
Tough one for Germany. They've looked really good, Todd, so far the last couple of events, so they'll be looking to turn things around here. But again, Germany, Italy, these newer teams, well, it's maybe an equal opportunity with these new foils coming in, how we learn, but also they're already struggling to get to grips with just the F50 as it is. So the new foils, something even more to think about. And yeah, it's noticeable that some of the newer teams at the back of the pack in the first race with the new foils.
The pressure from the wind must be really on the edge, Steve, because we were scheduled to have 4 sailors on board, and now they last second as Hannah caught, it was just 3 at the last minute. Yeah, it's really up and down. The wind here in Switzerland, it's great that we got this southwesterly. I mean, it's absolutely stunning conditions. But yeah, 3 people on the boat. It's just a lot less weight to lift up into the air, basically. So they made the call. We want the boats foiling. That's the sort of defining factor. Foiling boats are fun, fast boat. So Mubadala Brazil will come across in 11th place. Remember, the USA got a DQ, so they will finish in 12th, and no points for those last 2 teams. So a very tough start to the Rolex Switzerland Sail Grand Prix for the Americans and the Brazilians, and they will look to races 2, 3, and 4 as we are scheduled for 4 races today. Mother Nature obviously powering SailGP, and if she brings the wind, we will keep racing. So Hannah, the race is on, and now you have to start, if you're in the back of the pack, limiting your damages and trying to recover some points.
Yeah, that's right, and I think there's plenty of time still for the teams to do that, but certainly if you've had 2 poor races to begin with, you're going to really be feeling the pressure now to execute a really good start and get a good result in race 3.
Feeling the pressure, Stevie's got to be the Bond's Flying Rouge, but to Hannah's point, if you get a 1, 2, or 3 here, it's going to fix a lot of things.
We're early in the game, yes, but you start to not be able to make that mistake, and that's where the Bond's Flying Rouge are now.
All right, here we go. 26 seconds away from the start of race number 3.
Black foils middle of the pack again. They're hoping for a gap to open up. There looks like there will be one for them there this time. The Bond's Flying Rouge well positioned right now. Canada and Great Britain are in a bit of a battle at the bottom of the line there. Australia well positioned this time. Rockwell well positioned on that fast angle again. It's an acceleration game again now. Out of the middle of the line, it's going to be burning on the black foils. Timing this perfect. What a start by the black foils when they needed it, and he's going to drive over the top of Emirates Great Britain and the Bond's Flying Rouge. He's going to be sending his main rivals back down the fleet.
Oh, it's just below.
Spain are out the back as well, Todd, left-hand side of screen. That's the Spanish wallowing here. Another huge moment in Season 5 of SailGP, potentially. Slingsby pulls a rabbit from the hat, and he looks like he's going to get second at Mark 1.
At mark number 1, it is the black foils who make the turn first with the Bond's Flying Rouge with a beautiful recovery. And whatever the Germans had for breakfast, Stevie, you, Hannah, and I should also be having it because they are in the mix again.
So the black foils there stayed wide and then executed low. Look at the gap they've got right to left versus Australia. We call that gauge sideways. Burling set that up the whole way down. He was patient and he made the most of it. Oh, the Germans have been keeping clear of the Bond's Flying Rouge. Bond's Flying Rouge is a bit of a splash. They should be up to second here, but I think the black foils have executed a good manoeuvre as well. That was just magical stuff at the start, but the Bond's Flying Rouge, wow, they were fast on that first leg when they needed it.
And Hannah, this is the Australia we
back
love to watch.
Back of the screen, Todd, the black foils are off the foils. Massive error by them. This could be hugely costly at this point in the race.
Hey, stand by.
The question is, can they make it into the gate? Looks like one more maneuver for the Bond's Flying Rouge. Will they go right?
Well, I think they're not making that left turn, so they're going to have to go right, but black foils a huge problem on board there.
It's all good now.
Sounds like they've hit a button or they've had a slight fault issue on the boat there. We'll have to find out, but this is hugely costly. It sounds calm on board. I don't feel very calm for them. They've lost 4 places already, and look how slow they are, going half the speed of the British, and all those boats are going to come at them with the right of way. But for Australian fans, whoa, breathe a sigh of release. You're back in the game.
On the way here. Nice pressure here. Hey, stand by. No board here.
Oh, they've got a problem with the board. When he's dropped the board, he's had an issue with it there, Blair. We'll have to find out exactly what that means, whether it was a fault in it lifting up or if there's a slight hydraulic issue on board. But look at them wallow from hero. Potentially they're going to be last around gate 2 with the speed they're going.
They were in first. They are now in 8th as it stands right now, with the rest of the fleet bearing down on the Blackfoils. Meanwhile, the big winners on that exchange, the Barnes Flying Ruse. Somehow Tom Slingsby felt the pressure, got to that inside line, Stevie, and gets to the hole shot. And when the Kiwis have their issues, they roll over.
Oh, it's good for pressure.
Yeah, I mean, they just, they just had a good start, put themselves in the race, didn't they? And look, they're up and foiling here. It sounds all good on board. We know how fast this Australian boat's when it's in clear air hand, but they've just not put themselves there all day. It'll be interesting here. Do the Blackfoils manage to get back and foiling again now they're heading upwind? They need some clear wind. They need to get foiling, and if they can salvage a mid-fleet, they could be okay.
H2 here for a bit. Copy.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder if they're just really struggling with the lack of clear air there, or they're still struggling with the problem on board because they haven't managed to find any space to get up and foiling just yet.
Well, the Kiwis had an 11th in race number 1, bounced back for a 2nd in race number 2, but they are now dropping towards the back. And here it is one more time.
Yeah, we'll see it. So we're on board the Australian boat here, and we see background of screen, you see the Blackfoils. They're off our screen, so we don't quite see what happens here. We see a really, well, maybe not what the Aussies are called, but you just see there, out of the manoeuvre, the Blackfoils just don't manage to get on the foil, and they lift the old foil too soon, so the whole boat drops in. 2 holes in the water, that's an awful lot of drag. I'm surprised they missed that.
Big change in the fleet now. The boat's all doing under 30 kilometres an hour, so we must have a much lighter wind conditions on the course.
Okay, new graphic here. So this is indicating over the last 30 seconds how the boat's performance is going relative to the wind angle. If it's green, it means you're sailing a slightly more efficient course. That might mean you're going faster, or that might mean you're sailing less distance towards the next mark. So watch out for that. But just remember, green is good for the team you're watching. Red is bad.
Quite a thin lay. Nice pressure in 2. 26. 27.
Rockwell Denmark up and foiling in the background there, 40 kilometres an hour compared to Bond's Flying Ruse 30.
Rockwell are right back in this, aren't they, Hannah? They've really checked their way through. Seems like it's really dropped out there, Lisa.
Yeah, the wind has dropped off quite dramatically, and it looks like it shifted as well. But the boats are up and foiling. I think all the breeze is sitting away from the seawall, so it'll be interesting to see if the Bond's Flying Ruse choose to just keep it simple and turn left. It looks like they'll do that, but I'd expect them to make a manoeuvre pretty quickly and head back offshore and find some good breeze.
So despite the changing weather conditions, the Bond's Flying Ruse back up and foiling, so they maintain that first position. 2nd place belongs to the Swiss. Here comes Rockwell Racing Denmark, the winners of the last race.
The manoeuvres on the downwind are a lot easier, Todd, because you've not got the drag of the wind as you manoeuvre the boat. Oh, it's right of way Switzerland there. Don't know whether that was a bit of a Hollywood with the steering by Seb Schneider, but that was a real head-to-head. It's going to be interesting to see if anything comes of that. Tight cross, that is for sure.
Germany drops back to 4th, 2 penalties on that last leg. So the Germans try to clean it up as they try to stay in the top 4. And the big question is, where is Spain? Stevie, I got to look all the way back to 10th. Those Gallos not delivering to their home fans right now as they are mired in 10th place.
Yeah, and the Blackfoils right inside the screen. They're just about to go off camera there. They've managed to get themselves back and foiling, and they're working their way up through the fleet again here. Positive movement for the Blackfoils, starting to sail the boat smooth. Tight cross with France, though. Oh, that was really tight. French choose to manoeuvre underneath the Kiwi boat there. That should be clear. Blackfoils are potentially going to be all the way back to 7th. Certainly sounding calm on board here. But yeah, the manoeuvres downwind are an awful lot easier, but it's just flying the boat so hard as we see the Blackfoils rolling over the top of the French.
So it is the French who have the right of way as they go around that gate, trying to push them just a little bit wider.
Allowed to push them wide. The problem the French are about to get is they're going to get into the disturbed wind from the New Zealand boat, so the Kiwis should end up faster. And you need speed before this manoeuvre, so the blue do not get slow before this first manoeuvre, and you can see actually they're really working hard there, man on the handles, working that wing sail. Big game for the black foils over the French, and who's going to work their way up through the fleet? Spain have got some work to do in 10th at the moment.
Look at the speed, starting to pick up over 40 kilometers an hour. As Lisa said, the wind going away from the seawall, so they're finding pressure out there deeper into the course. Meanwhile, it is the Bonds Flying Rouge who have made the turn for home. They get through that last gate. They still have the lead. Rockwell Racing holding a second place, Swiss in third, and Germany Deutsche Bank maintaining fourth.
Gone fast.
Crucial manoeuvres at the bottom here. You can see the Aussies have had to go very slow to avoid Great Britain. No surprise there to see Dylan. Well, Dylan made it really hard for him. He had them lined up. Despite the fact they're on different legs of the course, the British had the right of way, so Australia had to keep clear. They're slow. Black foils are up and foiling as well. They're going to need some mistakes from the boats ahead. So Rottwell, Denmark, bottom of our screen. They're on the attack versus the Bonds Flying Rouge here. That could be crucial if the Danish boat, can nail this next manoeuvre and stay foiling. This distance will come down quickly. The Rolex chasing time, 15 seconds, but it's falling.
H1 tack, and then
nice pressure on the back,
So the Danes make the turn. Now the race is on. There you see Australia straight ahead of Denmark. Australia very slow.
And your wheel today?
Didn't make the foiling tack on board the Danish boat there. So they're not going to get the overtake on the Bonds Flying Rouge here, I don't think, for sure right now. They're slow on there at the moment, but just a left turn to do here, Todd. And during that left turn, they should easily be able to build speed and get foiling again.
Talk about that magic number, Stevie. Rockwell, Denmark has got theirs. They are 31. You see the green going up. They are up and trying to get the foiling going. Meanwhile, the Bonds Flying Rouge just a few hundred meters away from the finish line, and they will do the exact thing that they needed, pick up a win.
They might do as well. And I think when we were watching this race to the final, New Zealand, well, they looked in danger of going way out, but they're potentially all the way up to 6th here. So what was a potential disaster, they might have salvaged something, and Spain are just not making up through the fleet.
And they need it the most. The Bonds Flying Rouge, the overall leaders right now, get the Emirates winning moment. They win race number 3. So a beautiful bounce back for the Australians after finishing 9th in race number 1, 11th in race number 2. They win race number 3.
Switzerland and Germany are tight there. Rottwell, Denmark, it's 2 good ones in a row for them. Starting to find form at the end of season 5 here.
And landing.
Nice one.
Nice, guys.
So Denmark safely in. Their worst race of the day was an 8th. That came in race number 1, and now the battle is on. Who's going to finish in 3rd? Is it going to be Germany, Deutsche Bank, or Switzerland? Eric Heil and the Germans coming around the outside, and it looks like they're going to pick up another spot. Well done, Germany, Deutsche Bank.
What a bit of confidence will do for you, eh, Todd? They look like a new team since the mid-season, don't they, this German outfit?
That was epic. Really good race.
Good race.
It was epic, Eric. I'm with you on that. Great comeback. British again, though. Relentless
Top 5
there.
Yeah.
Top 5 again. And you see the Black Foils have rolled the North Star here.
Some dodgy starts.
That's a real comeback by Black Foil there.
That's nice. Nice management after that reach mark and the giant placement.
Talking about some dodgy starts.
Tough crowd on board the Emirates GPR boat there. Dylan has been left in no mind as to what he needs to think about for the next couple of minutes. But as I said, they managed it well after Mark 1. Let's see if the Black Foils say anything.
Lovely. Nice start. All right.
Start.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Kiwis, Stevie, really it came down to that one maneuver. I mean, they were in a top 3 position, but give them credit, they salvaged that and finished in 6th.
That could have easily hemorrhaged backwards, and I think that's where you rely on a good team, a good way of working, to not think in the past, okay, we made a mistake, what's the next right move? How do we keep moving things forward and keep doing things right? And, you know, they did a pretty good job of salvaging a decent race there.
Meanwhile, Spain is just flirting with disaster on day number 1. You look at their report card, they came out in dead last on race number 1. They finished 3rd in race number 2 and 9th in race number 3. So if you are the coach of Los Gallos, Stevie, you tell them, Hannah, you better go out there and finish in the top 3 in this last race.
Yeah, I think they've not started great so far today. And I think that's been a little bit the story of their sort of second half of the season, really. So, yeah, potentially the time to start winding up the risk a little bit at the pre-start. Get in that box earlier, try and get your elbows out and lead the fleet back and protect from there.
And it looks like Red Bull Italy is going to go right around the stars and stripes. So Ruggiero Tita is going to pick up another position, and he's going to finish in 10th to pick up some valuable points.
2, 1.
The USA will hold on for 11th, and Mubadala Brazil will finish in 12th.
55.
Under a minute to go before the start of the Germany Sail Grand Prix here in Sassnitz, the Rolex SailGP Championship, and the 11 teams now making their way into the start box. Remember, cannot cross that red line until the clock goes to 0, and so now the dance begins.
Yeah, we can see it's a small start box. Look, bottom left-hand corner of our screen, how close they are to the fans on the shoreline. It's a really tight box. Emirates Great Britain late in, but that could give them a chance to attack here. United States, top of the line. Pole position is that blue area just in the middle of the line, so a fairly even start line. Will be about acceleration from here. The boats are trickling in. The black foils look well positioned. Rolex Pole Predictor sits on top of the Danish at the moment. Can Rockwell execute? Emirates Great Britain winded up. Australia look late to me. Spain in the middle of the line are the favourites from here. We're watching for that line to turn white, and we're going to see who's found the perfect timing. Can the British accelerate through from there? Oh,
This is the umpire's early start penalty, Spain.
Yeah, they're going to have to go back behind the whole fleet, the Spanish, but it was the British absolutely perfect at the bottom of the line. And Mark 1, we're going to see these FDs absolutely light up as they turn away from the breeze.
Turn away in 5. Line at the mark. 3, 2, 1. Loading up here.
Watch the numbers at the top of the wings.
And it is on at mark number 1 with Emirates GBR leading the pack.
98 kilometres an hour there for the British at Mark 1. They're in a lot of wind, that dark patch of water carting them down towards gate 2 here. Long way to stretch out. It's all about accurate manoeuvres now. There goes Hannah Mills.
Tense moments on board here on race number 1. You've got Spain, Denmark, and it looks like the Bonds Flying Rouge, they've already turned away. No, that's the black foil. So the Bonds Flying Rouge still hanging in there. Here we go.
Lovely. I mean, look at the patch of wind, the Bonds Flying Rouge in the top of the course there. They look like they found a lot of wind, and the Australians are going to come back towards the group with the right of way. So tactically, very nice manoeuvre there by Tash Bryant and Tom Slingsby, but I think Emirates Great Britain are gone. They look good. A lot of wind here. They're going to try and keep it simple with a left turn at gate 2.
And at gate number 2 at race number 1, it is Emirates GBR with the lead. The home team, Deutsche Bank Germany, in second place. And now is where it's going to get really crazy as they all come together.
Yeah, Switzerland have got to keep clear. The red and the green there. The Italians need to watch out. Perfect manoeuvre by Ruggiero Tito. And now the Bonds Flying Rouge have got to slow things down. What a move by the Italians is at the top of the screen. The Swiss are loose. Oh, it's so hard rounding these boats up through the breeze.
One of the trickiest things today is going to be how hard do you push. It's really tricky to know whether you're in full race mode or just getting around this mark safely. So the teams that get that right are going to have a big advantage.
So it's still Emirates GBRs. They make their way back up the course. They have first place right now. Second place is showing Deutsche Bank Germany. Third going to Red Bull Italy. And the Bonds Flying Rouge, your top 4.
Yeah, I think to Hannah's point, in these gusts, the dark patches on the water there, you know, you're going to have so much extra horsepower. It's all very well having a car with 1,000 horsepower. If you can't stick it or control it to the road, there's no point using it. So the crews have got to judge how hard and when to push to the maximum. And right now, the British have just made a massive gain, and for the German fans, look at that. Eric Highland team turning it on. They're well positioned, good shift, good pressure, moving up the course well, and they look like they're sailing a nice breeze out there at the moment, Lisa.
Yeah, the British are definitely in the best breeze around the course, but the difference between the light air and the heavy air is huge, so it really is changing the angles, it's changing the heel, it really is tough out here. But as they approach this top gate, it's actually getting a lot lighter, and as you're close to shore, it's hard to read the wind as well, so it's going to get tricky as they move up the course.
So Emirates GBR has the lead. Second place belongs to Deutsche Bank. German squad sitting in second. The fans will love that. Eric Heil at the wheel, Stuart Bithell, wing trimmer, Anna Barth, the strategist.
United States, bottom right-hand corner as well. Mike Menninger in on the wing trim there. First day on the tools for him. Not an easy task to be handed that one over. They've got to watch out. Switzerland should have boundary room there. It's going to be tight, bottom right-hand corner. The USA need to manoeuvre away.
Taylor Canfield, US SailGP, currently sitting in third place, so a nice maneuver for them. They don't lose anything on that maneuver, and now it looks like, Stevie, a lot of these boats are going to be able to lay right into this gate.
Yeah, and you can see where Australia are top of screen, so Great Britain look like they might turn right, but I think they're going to sail into less wind, so expect an early maneuver. I think as you go under the shoreline there, you will see a bit less breeze, so tricky tactical moments in the race here.
Hannah, as we look at the course right now and talking about what Lisa said about less wind closer to shore, how far out are they advancing and they calling these maneuvers? Are they going to make this maneuver quickly and they're already thinking about the next maneuver?
Well, one of the tricky things, because they're tucked up so close to that shoreline, they don't get a lot of time to be able to see that wind and make their decision based on what they're seeing on the water. So you'll probably see that's why the fleet's compressed so much here compared to they were much more spread out down at the bottom gate, but really tricky to make the right call at this top gate.
Oh, French just squeezing around there. We can see it was United States probably had the best of that upwind leg there. Contan needs to reset, re-accelerate this French boat. They're really slow. Won't be easy to accelerate here. Swiss, they're in an awful lot of breeze moving down towards the bottom right-hand side of the course there, and you can just see any mistakes, you lose so much distance.
3, 2, 1, hold it. I'm 5.
These 18-meter wings, really tricky to sail when they're down the wind range. So the grinders are having to work super hard because the wing trimmers are really working the wing sheet and the twist control that they have to make sure that they can keep as powered up as possible in the lighter winds.
This is like 4 of 6, race number 1. We've got 4 races scheduled for today. It's down to the bottom of the course, then back up, and then the turn to home. And a penalty for Red Bull Italy. Looks like a boundary penalty, possibly.
Yeah, they're just going to need to lose 20 meters there. They just got a bit wide on the course. It's quite light winds out there, that is for sure. We can see Great Britain here. They're in well position for the bottom. They might have to do an extra maneuver there. Dylan confirms that. Trying to make things simple, but for Germany, United States, and Switzerland, well, it's a crucial moment in the race.
Almost 200-meter lead for Emirates GBR. Behind them, the home team, Germany Deutsche Bank with Eric Heil at the wheel, and now the Americans and the Swiss in a nice battle for 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, the Swiss did find more wind, and it was the left turn at the bottom last time that paid dividend for the British, and the British have been forced to go the other way. So interesting here. Maybe the course has changed a little bit, not sure, but the Swiss have been fast on this downwind egg. Black foil's looming large, but this is the final upwind. Crucial moments in the race if you want to make a pass from here.
Okay, you're aboard. I'm aboard.
US SailGP now tucked into 4th place. Top 4 position be a great start for Taylor Canfield and the Americans. And a great start, Stevie, for the Germans. You got to go back to Dubai and the fleet race where they won 2nd race of the day, but it hasn't been a lot of consistent success for them, so this would be a great start.
Yeah, I mean, I think they talked to you a little bit. They've just had some practice. I mean, it's hard to get the practice, isn't it, Hannah? And maybe we're just seeing the dividends of a little bit of time on the water, because right now, Germany could be a threat for the British here. Germany look like they're progressing up those ladder lines well. They have the right of way. I think we could see a lead change here. Could be the Germans making a game.
Yeah, that's right. And you can see some teams just feel really comfortable in a particular venue, so it might be that the Germans have just switched straight into these conditions. I would say that that left turn looked really strong last time, so I'm surprised that Emirates GBR allowed them to split at that point in the race.
Yeah, tricky. Here we go. Crucial cross here. Right of way, Germany. Great Britain must keep clear, and it should be 1 more manoeuvre for the Germans, potentially 2 for Great Britain at the top. So big chance for the Germans from here.
Great opportunity for the fans on shore in Sassnitz to get on their feet. The home team is in 1st place now as we are on the penultimate leg here in race number 1. It's Germany Deutsche Bank out in front.
All about accurate manoeuvres for the Germans from here. Control the controllable on board that German boat. Try and stick a good manoeuvre. Here they go. Let's watch them here. Accuracy crucial. Oh, lovely. Look how they kept the heel wind there. The boat leaning on top of them. Perfect for acceleration. Now, Great Britain has right of way, but they have to do another manoeuvre. Germany has space. If they dip behind Great Britain, I think they'll still make the mark. So tight moment. Advantage Great Britain right now.
USA has moved up to 2nd place, and now it's all about this crossing. Remember, as Stevie said, Great Britain has the right of way.
Dylan turns towards him there. Tries to force Germany wide. German on the inside. Great Britain, 1 more manoeuvre to do. Can Germany he make the final mark with no more manoeuvres? And don't forget about the United States.
Penalty New Zealand. Port tack bow not keeping clear. Go behind Italy.
So the Kiwis, the Blackfoils, will lose one position. They'll drop back to 6th place, and now it is on. Here we go, the final gate.
Germany are going to make it, Todd, here. Sprint to the finish coming.
And they spin the wheel to the right, and with the fans just off to their left-hand side, they will bring it home. Race number 1 of the Germany Sail Grand Prix here in Sassnitz goes the way of the home team. The Emirates winning moment goes to the Germans.
What a moment, what a race by the Germans. Where did that come from?
Emirates GBR led for almost the entire race, and on the last upwind leg, Germany comes from behind to take the win. Emirates GBR finishes in 2nd. The USA holds on for a top 3 position.
Oh, and I tell you what, right at the end of that, the Blackfoils and Australia got themselves back in the race, 5th and a 6th. Australia was down in about 10th place and stuck in really light winds for a while there. So good race and good comeback for those teams. Canada, Denmark, right-hand side, last at the back of the pack here. Really disappointing for them. Time for a big, big reset.
Good performance as well from Red Bull Italy. They are top 4 as well. This is a team that is on the rise, no question about it.
Making your first manoeuvre early out of Mark 1, so you can do that left turn. But just because you know that that's the right strategy doesn't mean it's any easier to execute.
Knowing what to do, Stevie, and being able to do it are 2 different things, correct?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's almost even harder when it's that obvious, because everyone's trying to be in the same spot, and, you know, every person on these boats will know that's the place to be. It's not that you and I and Hannah are rocket scientists up here, Todd. They'll have all worked it out, and we can see once again the pole predictors at the bottom corner there on the downwind end of the start line. That, again, I just think the difference here is it's such a short run to Mark 1. You haven't got the time to use the extra speed you'd had if you were up the line. Spain well positioned. New Zealand well positioned at the moment here. The Roos, well, they've got some space, and Slingsby is going to be able to wind it up from here if he can keep his timing right. They look a little late on board Canada. North Star Canada having a shocker today. Here we go. Look at that line to turn white. Slingsby's going to swing it down here. All about acceleration. Watch for the go. Perfect from the Roos, and Slingsby, when he needs to pull a rabbit from a hat, he's done it, because they need a good race here, and the Roos are going to lead at Mark 1.
So as they approach mark number 1, it is the Bombs Flying Roos of Australia and Tom Slingsby, the winners of the 2nd event of the season, New Zealand. They are off and running.
Oh, and the Spanish have learnt their lesson. They've spun it inside their boatine. He's given himself a chance. He must keep clear of Australia until he gets in the yellow circle, which is off the side of our screen at the moment. Slingsby will be aggressive here. He's going to try and push the Spanish off.
Yep, coming up. Coming down hard.
Going to try and force the Spanish off the course here.
Look at this.
He needs to not be overlapped. Brilliant by Slingsby. Absolutely textbook, and he's made it so hard for the Spanish. They're going to be slow out of gate 2.
Hey, adding rather soft turn, Tommy.
Spain, it's going to get hard for Spain here, because Emirates Great Britain will go around the outside. Emirates Great Britain will then have the right of way over the Spanish as well, and he could force the Spanish off the foils. They have Fletcher on fire.
So the ripple effect of aggressive driving from Tom Slingsby is felt in the rest of the fleet, with Dylan Fletcher, Emirates GBR, Rogero Tito, and Diego Botín, most importantly. And now it is Tom Slingsby. We've heard all the drivers talk about this, Hannah. If you can get out in front, stay clean, you've got so many other options.
Yeah, and we saw in some of the other races, some of the teams are happy to bank a 2nd or a 3rd. Tom Slingsby is never happy with that. He will always go for the win if he's got that option.
Look at that, New Zealand, the Blackfoils. They fell off the foils in their first manoeuvre there. Very, very costly for them. They could bring themselves back into the hunt as Mubadala Brazil, top right-hand corner of our screen. They've got some space. Martin's looking to pull a bit of a move here. They're going fast on board Mubadala Brazil, but how are they going to come back when they meet the fleet?
Currently sitting in 2nd place is Mubadala Brazil and Grail.
Look at Spain, Todd. Sorry to interrupt. They're back to 8th, and they were all 2nd. And I want, interesting question, right? Spain last year was sort of one of the nobody teams. They ended up winning the championship. They've then been on fire the last couple of events. Does that suddenly put a target on your back? And Slingsby says, I'm the big man. I'm taking you down. I'm going to shoot you.
Craig Mitchell, the chief umpire, issuing a penalty to Brazil. They sailed too far out on that boundary, the top of the screen, so they will have to drop back. and they will go from 2nd to 4th. Meanwhile, it looks like the breeze is dropping just a little bit. We check in down in the water with Lisa Darman. And Lisa, how is it looking to you, and how do you like the Rouge's chance of where they are right now?
I think if you're out in front, it's pretty nice out here. I mean, today it's just getting a little bit patchier. So what I mean by that is that the higher breeze is higher and the lower breeze is lower. So a lot of cloud coming around, it's changing the day, but I think it's pretty clear what's working on the course. And, you know, it's very close, I think very tight, but Australians are looking really strong.
Was it just me, Stevie, or did she have a little extra pep in her voice there with the Australians out in front?
Well, we don't like to accuse Lisa Darmanin of being biased towards that Australian team. We wouldn't want to get ourselves accused of that, Todd. But yeah, I mean, I think she'll, of course, be happy. A lot of her friends on board that boat. But I think it's still really interesting here because Australia do need a good result. They've got to watch out for the Italians. Italy are entitled to dive inside. Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, they're going to go straight. Keep it simple on board Italy. I think at their stage of the development, that was a very smart move. Stay fast. Don't risk the extra manoeuvre. But New Zealand are still out the back.
So my question on that maneuver would be, with Red Bull Italy coming in that fast, are they hearing from Race HQ and Jimmy Spithill and their coaches, telling them go straight, don't mess around with Australia, or that's a decision that they leave up to Ruggiero Tita?
Well, I think all the teams have got a slightly different plan with that, but, you know, some of these decisions are coming so quickly. Generally, the coaches are helping, and some of the CEOs as well, with some of the bigger picture strategy rather than that off-the-cuff thinking.
Yeah, here we go. We've got that race to the final at the moment. And this is a massive race for Australia and New Zealand. New Zealand look home and dry for the final. I know it was a bit early to say that. And Australia struggling, but you get a good race win. And New Zealand back in 11th. They're last of all the boats that are still currently racing. And you can see Australia scrape into the final as it stands. Long way to go, but one thing that is a fact is that British boat are loving it on home water.
Right now we've got one more race result to add to that tally, and then we've got 3 more fleet races tomorrow. For those of you wondering what's going on with France, they had an incident before the start of racing today where they broke their wing, and so it looks like they will not be able to race this weekend. Now, Stevie, there's a potential for them to do some miracle shore work overnight, but that was pretty extensive damage.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speculate on that. I mean, you know, it's they've obviously... We'll review it, try and work out what's gone wrong. That's the most important thing, and then hopefully we've got some spares, but I don't know that at all. As we see here, that the Australians have done a brilliant job on this downwind. They've extended away, and Ruggiero Tita on board Italy, they're doing a good job as well. It's going to really make tomorrow's racing so interesting.
Dylan Fletcher coming in second. Emirates GBR, they've had a great day today. They won the first race of the day. They finished second in race number 2, dropped back to 3rd in race 3. So I think if you talk to any of the sailors, Hannah, they would all say, yeah, the first 3 races, I'd take a 1st, 2nd, and a 3rd. No question about it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We talk about consistency all day long, and it's so important. I think it's going to be hard for them here. They're going to tack on the boundary. It's going to be quite a hard lane behind the Bonds Flying Rouge. They're going to have to work pretty hard to keep the boat fast along this long leg.
See, if you get that view right there and you look along there, how far can the disturbed air go? I mean, who's feeling it? Is Italy feeling it? Is Brazil feeling it off the Rouge?
Italy will be feeling it off the Rouge. I think that the British will probably just about be clear, but they're quite limited in the angles they can sail from here. They might want to sort of turn a little away from the wind to accelerate, but if they did, they'd sail into the disturbed wind. I think we were talking about the coaches. One of the really interesting things, the Spanish have developed a bit of software that predicts where the disturbed air from all of the boats is. So then they can map a route round the race course. Now, of course, it doesn't always work because they're currently coming 10th, but it's been really a feature of their racing. So that understanding where that disturbed wind, where effectively there is less wind on the race course because of the other boats, it is predictable, and it's really a big feature.
There you see the Rolex chase time right now between 1st and 2nd. That's the Bonds Flying Rouge out in front with Emirates GBR trying to track them down. I don't know if Dylan Fletcher, Hannah, is that concerned right now with the Bonds Flying Rouge because of the results they've had so far. You look at Australia, they start off with a 7th place on race number 1, a 5th on race 2, and they bounce back with another 5 on race 3. So they need the points way more than Dylan Fletcher does. I got to think he's going to keep this thing clean and simple and take a top 3.
Yeah, that's right. And don't underestimate how hard the boat is to sail when you've got someone in front of you and also trying to keep to the right-hand side underneath the screen of Spitbank 4. Requires so much concentration just to keep the boat going fast.
And just 5 people on board. Normally it is 6.
Wasn't it, by the Australians? And it just shows when you're out in front, because we can see the boats in the pack. There is just less wind as all the boats move up the course. The whole bit downwind of the fleet towards the fans, there will be less clear wind and just less potential horsepower out there on the water. And well, look at that. Slingsby, he's looked pretty average all day, hasn't he? Give him a sniff of a lead, and they look like the world-class outfit that they are.
This will shake up the leaderboard, no question about it.
Watch out for Swiss coming.
Oh, he was hunting at Emirates Great Britain there. He had the right of way. I think that was pretty clean, but Slingsby certainly made Fletcher know he's still around.
Go right turn. Copy. Turn away in 3, 2, 1. Turn away.
Opting for one less manoeuvre there with that right turn and forcing Red Bull Italy into another tack before they take that left turn.
Well, Bud Brazil and Martini Grail having a great race. They currently sit in 4th as they tuck in behind Red Bull Italy. And Germany Deutsche Bank having their best showing so far as they will come in 5th.
It's a pretty huge race this really, because Spain and New Zealand 10th and 11th. I mean, you know, we don't often see that, do we? And they're struggling to get back through the fleet. Portsmouth Emirates fouled Australia, so that was on the upwind leg, so it'll be a very, very minimum penalty because it's an overtake one and Australia are already well ahead. So that's just a little mark on the scorecard for Dylan Fletcher rather than any real effect to this race for him.
Just to let them know that Chief Umpire Craig Mitchell watches everything.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to annoy Tom Slingsby.
No, not at all. So here we go. This is leg 6 of 7, the final race of the day. Of course, we have 3 more tomorrow as you get a look at the Emirates Umpire Studio. Chief Umpire Craig Mitchell there on the right-hand bottom corner of your side. But right now, everyone is looking at the Bonds Flying Roos because they have a massive lead as they will bring it in here and they will make that left-hand turn, and then it is off to Hallelujah Land as they see the finish line, and they will get a nice warm welcome by the near 30,000 fans that have turned out here in Portsmouth.
Nice moment for Chris Draper as well. We saw his daughter Lily up in the crowd, so we know his family's all up there. Chris, of course, comes from near Southampton, so local sailor as well as the wing trimmer on board the Bonds Flying Roos.
So the fans can get on their feet and tip their hat. The Emirates winning moment goes the way of the Bonds Flying Roos and their driver, Thomas David Slingsby.
Going forward down.
That's some good research you got yourself in there, Todd. David, there you go. I did not know that. Emirates Great Britain are coming through there. Brilliant day for them. In front of the home fans, they've really rose to the occasion, that is for sure. Ruggero Tita on board the Italian boat as well. Good day for them. Big, big day for this Italian team. They need a good event, and they're getting it.
Really good day.
Really great day right there. Look at the number of Union Jacks that are out as they bring it across, much to the delight of the fans. It turned out on a picture-perfect day here on day number 1. It is Dylan Fletcher and company. They cross the line.
Look at that crowd. I mean, it's just awesome, isn't it?
Nice ride, Nico.
Red Bull Italy, they will cross the line in a top 3 position. Germany Deutsche Bank will finish in 4th. And Mubadala Brazil and Martini Grail, they will finish in top 5. Remember, they got a win in New York City in race number 4 a few weeks back. So they are still trying to build and put that team together, but they've got a lot of talent. And then Sebastian Snyder, winners of the last race, they dropped back to 6th place.
Canada and United States are going at it. United States have got to give Canada room here. Giles is pushing it wide. He's going to be slow. Both of them are going to be off the foils. As soon as they get round the mark, the North Star Canada have got to keep clear. And we've seen that Taylor Canfield is not one to be gentle in these situations. These 2 boats are going to be parked. So for all the boats behind them, opportunity knocks. The Americans need to time this right to re-accelerate.
Good opportunity now for Rockwool, Denmark, and Spain to maybe pick up another position as the U.S. and the Canadians are locked together. And look at this, Rockwool, Denmark's going to go right on by.
Oh, that was a big, big one by the United States. That was just overly aggressive. He could have slowed the Canadians and still held that position. That's a big mistake there. Good news for Rockwool, Denmark. But Spain and New Zealand in this race, wow, what effect is it going to have on their event?
So Canada drops back to position behind the Americans. Spain finished in a shocking 10th, and who would have thought this? The winners of the last race, the Black Foils, New Zealand, Stevie, they come in dead last.
If you're not first, you're last. That is for sure. Not a good result for the Kiwis, but they'll still come back fighting tomorrow. They're right in the match.
So here we go. Race number 2 on the water as the teams head for the start box. Hannah Diamond, what did you learn from race number 1 start that you would want to obviously put into play here in race number 2?
Well, I think you can't assume that there's going to be breeze all over the course, that's for sure. We saw really different angles, really different conditions, just so close to each of the boats. So it's going to be about hitting the start line right, but finding the pressure around the course.
And we're missing the stars and stripes right now as Team USA is having some issues on board with 30 seconds to go before the start of race number 2. They pushed the start back, Stevie, by 2 minutes, and the Americans obviously have not fixed what's going wrong on board.
Yeah, not sure what's happened there. I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. But right now we see North Star Canada. They were late last time. time. They're very, very early right now. They've got a lot of time to kill. What they have got is space. Rolex Pole Predictor sits on board Emirates GBR. They're well positioned. Those boats to the left-hand side of the screen are late already. That includes the Bonds Flying Rouge. The Black Foils are threading the needle, but Dylan Fletcher's got it wound up on Emirates Great Britain. Oh, North Star Canada are going to be so fast from the top of the line. Giles Scott, he needs a good one. He's got a good one. What can they do from here?
15.
As they approach mark number 1 in race number 2, it is elbows out, not needed, as North Star Canada gets the whole shot here, and they will be the first to make the turn.
Sorry, Siege. Talk to me on that.
That's fine, you could go.
Oh, the Rolex sprint leader on Canada, North Star Canada there have got that done, and you can see the boats at the back of the pack are still not on the foils. They're labouring in the start area still. That includes the Bonds Flying Rouge. This event is going to be so tough out there today. If you're in breeze, you're in good shape. If you're not, you're struggling. And the Black Foils, first to manoeuvre, they're on the attack. They're looking to roll forward and take North Star Canada's win. Los Gallos make a move at Mark 1 as well.
Back of the fleet, big speed still there. You saw Switzerland, and they were into the 90s. Good to see Italy back up and sailing, and Germany Deutsche Bank sit in 7th. But to Stevie's point, in the back, you've got teams that should not be there normally, including the Bonds Flying Rouge and the Americans.
Nice breeze all the way here.
Scott, get the elbows out there, because he gave the Black Foils a nudge, but we know all the boats are going to want a right turn at the bottom. We heard that before. It looks like we're going to set up. It's going to come down to execution. Oh, the Black Foils spin now. Can the Black Foils become overlapped inside North Star Canada? I don't think they're going to quite do it. North Star are going to be faster from here, but they've got to be careful to give the Black Foils some room.
At gate 2, the DP World Gate, it's a tight situation down there between the Black Foils and North Star.
Oh, Giles Scott did that absolutely perfectly. He gave just enough room, and then suddenly he gains the right of way, and the Black Foils have to keep clear. But back in the pack, well, it's all on. Great Britain have lost a lot of distance, but France again labouring in 9th, and the Bonds Flying Rouge are way out the back.
Another tight cross here as they go through. Remember, green means you've got the right of way, red means you have to give way, and it's weird to see the Bonds Flying Rouge after the performance, Stevie, we saw in the last race be in 10th place. Hannah, do you think there's a problem on board, or do you think it's just a poor start?
No, I think there's just such big pressure differences all over the course. You can see the Bonds Flying Rouge turning left there. They're in really light pressure. We can hear Chris Draper talking about that now. You can see the difference in colour on the water, and it's making a massive difference to strategy.
And look at this angle, Hannah. Look at the Spanish and the British are nearly sailing straight up the course. The wind's rotated way to the right where they are, and they're able to sail basically straight towards the next gate. So perfect for them. Big gains coming. It won't be good for Switzerland or Australia.
And if you compare that to the angle that Italy are sailing on the same tack further down the course in the middle of the screen, there's almost, 45, 50 degrees of difference in the breeze direction that they're sailing in.
Lisa, you're out there on the water. Is there actually anything obvious to see, or have you just got to play what's in front of you at the time?
To play what's in front of you. You can see just how erratic it is, and you kind of have to sail your own pressure. I'm sitting at the top gate, so the gate they're going to now, and there's a big bit of pressure here, but then 100 meters down there's not much. So it's really about linking it all together and not worrying too much about the other boats, but sailing your own race.
Right now it is North Star Canada that has the lead. On the inside, you've got the Black Foils sitting in 2nd place, and there at the top of your screen you've got Emirates GBR and Los Gallos, Spain.
We have a little replay here as we come back on board the German boat, getting way high on the foils, and then they just crash down off the foils there, just flying too high. Both boards in the water a little bit late to lift the old board, and that just put too much lift. Boat comes up, hobby horses down. Big mistake by the Germans there, really, as we can see here. Canada, is he going to make it round the gate? If he can get to gate 3 and no more manoeuvres, it's going to be a big gain for Giles Scott.
3, 2, 1, angle right in front.
They look like they've got great pressure for that left turn there as well. So New Zealand looking quite slow, trying to work quite hard to make the mark, to make this right turn here.
Yeah, it's interesting call. I think when you've got the smaller wing up, if you are in a bit less breeze or a bit slower speed-wise, it's very hard to make a manoeuvre. So once you've made a decision, you're kind of stuck with that decision quite early on.
3, jump.
last show on your bow.
Constant communication out there on board between the crews and then on the shore their coaches watching the same data that's coming across the screen. It is North Star Canada that has about a 15-second lead, but Stevie, we saw once again the speeds picked up for the Blackfoils as they made the turn on the other side of the course, again going into 90-kilometer-hour range.
Yeah, it is. You can see the big patch of water sort of near where the French are. It's quite dark, and as you went down the course there was less wind. The trouble with these boats is you sail faster than the wind, so actually those leaders are going to be sailing into lighter and lighter breeze, which should give the boats behind a little chance to catch up relative to them. But I think that front pack of 4 all the way to Emirates GBR are pretty well extended and should be in a little battle of their own.
These are the kind of winds that France usually excels at. Winners of the last event in Sassnitz, Germany. Emirates GBR picking up a penalty going outside the boundary.
That was just scrappy there, though, by the French. They didn't nail the manoeuvre. Even when it is tricky like this, you've got to put that extra focus on doing good manoeuvres, because that's the basics. You have to respect the basics in these kind of conditions. As we see now, coming in, they don't have the right of way on the Blackfoils, but they've got a very nice angle. Could be a lead change here. Burling's found more breeze and better angle by splitting at the top of the course. He made a short-term loss. Oh, no, he's going to have to dig behind Canada last moment here. We could see a split at gate 4.
Back up in 3, 2,
Extend, please, Annie.
turning up.
Oh, North Star are going to be really, really slow here.
Tight.
We heard in race 1, though, how important it was to get that right turn to minimise the manoeuvres up this next leg. So they obviously were happy to sacrifice the speed, but we'll have to see whether it pays off.
And despite the penalty, Emirates GBR maintains their 3rd place position, so it's New Zealand technically on the water that have taken over the top spot. North Star Canada sits in 2nd, Emirates GBR, and then Spain has moved all the way up to 4th, with Brazil rounding out the top 5.
Yeah, so next bit of whip breeze. Top right-hand side of screen. Does look like there's wind coming down the course for the Blackfoils, but they're not in a lot of wind right now, so this manoeuvre now, it will be very, very difficult to stay on the foils.
Stand by. Go down.
They're off the foils on board the Blackfoils, soon to be back up on them, but it looks like North Star Canada have done enough here. They've got a lot more wind, nearly 7 kilometres an hour more wind, according to the data from the Oracle Cloud there. So that should be a big gain for North Star, and they're going to be able to make this mark with only 1 more manoeuvre. I'm not sure if the Blackfoils were going to have to do 2 more manoeuvres from here. So North Star looking good for this one.
Turning. Yours.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to have good breeze all the way into the mark, so they've picked a nice lay line there. But it looks like the Blackfoils underneath have got a big right shift and might be able to lay it.
Oh, he's got a candy wrapper. He's just wrapping it. He will be slower, but he has the right of way. North Star are going to have to try and slingshot down the inside here, use their speed, but I imagine Burling will have a trick in the bag for that one.
I'm not sure they can claim that they saw that one coming, to be honest.
No, you got to ride your luck sometimes, but the Blackfoils have absolutely nailed that.
Pistol Pete Burling picks the right time to get a little gift from Mother Nature, and the Emirates winning moment in race number 2 will go the way of the Blackfoils, just ahead of North Star Canada.
Tell you what, back in the middle of the pack here as we see Germany coming round. Germany and Italy have sailed a nice race here, working their way up through the fleet. That's pretty encouraging signs for those teams. They've worked through really well. You see how hard it is. Bond's Flying Rouge, they're still in 10th, so the top team in the season, even they can't make the overtakes when they're back in the pack.
So it'll be Germany, Deutsche Bank will finish in 5th, with Italy, Red Bull will get 6th. It looks like Mubadala Brazil will hold on for 7th, and Rockwell Denmark sliding into 8th place. France back there in 9th, and the winners of race number 1, the Bonds Flying Rouge, looking to hold on to 10th place if they could hold off the Swiss.
All the way up.
It's hard to be consistent out there, isn't it, today? That's one thing we can say for absolutely sure. But all these teams did have a very, very poor start. So I think that's going to be kind of where the coaches need to get in the ear of Australia, Switzerland, Rockwell, Denmark, figure out the start box and try and put yourself in a better position to get out of that line.
So from 10 points to 1 point for the Bonds Flying Rouge, and they'll have a quick debrief before we get to race number 3. As we are now 1 minute away from the final race of the day. You got one more chance, Hannah Diamond, to get it right.
Yeah, and you can see the fleet are all lining up, and they're going to have to be pushing, jostling for position. We know how hard it is to accelerate these boats in this sea state, so lining up is going to be really, really important.
We'll find out where the win is momentarily when we check in on the water with Lisa Darmanin. But Stevie, hand it over to you. Where do you want to be, and who's got it right?
Well, the Germans, it's a bit of a freestyle move, but it's Eric Harl that's had his starting pants on today. He's been in the top 3 at Mark 1 in most races. He's looking for a big wind-up up here. You can hear Biffle counting him down. They're going to try and get in right-hand side of our screen. There's good breeze, 15 kilometres an hour. Look at that. And it's tight in the middle of the pack. Switzerland and Great Britain are well positioned. The Bonds Flying Roos again trying to lead the fleet back, and the Blackfoils, well, no surprise to see this. Burling's lining one up in the middle of the line here. Blackfoils are coming in hot. We're looking for the line to turn white. It's all going to be about an acceleration game through the middle here. How's your timing, Peter Burling? Oh, he's been a little bit late in the middle. The whole fleet neck and neck, but the Blackfoil should be fast. Rockwool Denmark should be fast. And on the inside, Emirates Great Britain should be able to just cling on.
And it is a massive traffic jam as they approach mark number 1, but it looks like the Flying Danes will get the whole shot. Denmark out in front.
Oh, Todd, this racing is getting crazy. Look how tight it is at Mark 1. I think Emirates Great Britain are overlapped on the inside. Blackfoils must give space. And the Bonds Flying Roos, look, they're off the foils and out the back.
On and in tight, but on.
They're 6 wide, Todd. Spain have got a very difficult tactical choice to make here. They're going to get water, they're going to get room on the boundary to manoeuvre, but look how wide they're getting forced, sailing a lot of extra distance. And well, right now, Nikolai Sehested, he seems to have seriously gone and cracked the code on these T-foils. For a man that said he was struggling with the boat, at the moment they look unattainable.
Penalty Germany, not giving room on the boundary, go behind France.
So Germany's going to lose 1 position. They'll go behind France. Meanwhile, Nikolai Sehested and Rockwell Racing Denmark out in front. Emirates GBR, again, Hannah, your former team, they have positioned themselves in such a good spot.
Yeah, they're in a really nice spot there. They don't sound too confident that they're going to make it into that left turn, so they'll either have to work the boat hard to get down, or they'll have to choose to turn away.
You heard that Dylan said there's a lot of gas the other way, so he's saying a right turn, and we'd have to sail back through a lot of disturbed air, so he's happy to follow here, and you're happy to just stay and sit. If he can get out of this race with a second, he'll take it. Penalty on the Swiss for not keeping clear of the Blackfoils when they needed to. Burling pushes the Swiss boats wide, double manoeuvre. Oh, Arno Sarafagis not happy, and that's because 2 manoeuvres in a row, you're going to get too slow. They're off the foil. Pressure now on the Swiss to rebuild and hope to get foiling. There's a bit of discontent on the boat there.
Well, as the rest of the fleet makes their way down to gate number 2, the DP World Gate, and all that disturbed wind, let's check in on the water with Lisa Darmanin. Lisa, the final race of the day, where do you want to be?
I think where Emirates Great Britain are at the moment, they're definitely in the best wind, but it's getting a little bit more patchy out here, which means there's pockets of breeze, not necessarily one way directly to go, but as you've seen, it's all in the manoeuvres. Can they execute it or not? Overall breeze has increased a bit more than last race, but not expecting it to get much windier than this.
Okay, so what we have is what we're going to get, and right now Emirates GBR just fine with that, locked into 2nd place. Rockwell Racing Denmark, they have the lead. Red Bull Italy out the back.
Well, the Swiss have had a big infringement here. They've got to drop a long, long way back. They're struggling to get rid of that penalty at the moment. As the Germans, they didn't give boundary room, so they've got to drop back behind the French. Oh, it's really painful here on the Germans. See there, a bit of a meeting. Emirates Great Britain, they're not likely to give an inch. Both boats off the foils. The Kiwi boats are heading back offshore. Now, Lisa said it's more patchy, which means it's more unstable, but who's going to find it first? Well, it's Emirates Great Britain. Look at that, big build of speed. They're up and foiling now. New Zealand's still showing at the moment as ahead of them, but I think it's a struggle. And down the road, well, Rockwool Denmark, it's a masterclass.
High mode here, Gibbs. H1 exit.
Yeah, the Danish just managed to carry on far enough out of that bottom mark that they were able to essentially sail round the fleet and avoid all of that dirty air.
It's the thing, when you're in the lead, Todd, you've got all the choices in the world. When you're in the pack, you're taking second pick-ins, you're having to sort of deal with the compromise that the rest of the fleet leave you with.
How about the Welsh going up front doing the strategy as well as doing the grinding?
Yeah, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, but not for doing a job like that. So she's trying to do the strategy, trying to wind that big wing sail in. It's an awful lot of multitasking for all the sailors on the boat, and then add to the fact that the breeze and the waves are seriously unpredictable out there today. New Zealand manoeuvre, left-hand side of our screen. If they can stay foiling, potentially they're going to be up to second here. Blackfoils need a good one, and where are we? Where are the Bonds Flying Roos, Todd? They're in.
Good there.
They're on the left-hand side of our screen, and they're nearly foiling. This could be a good comeback by Slingsby. He shows us 5th at the moment. It's a massive moment in the season right now.
Yeah, it's even, so we just leave turn here, aren't we?
Right of way with the Blackfoils, but it looks like Emirates Great Britain are confident they're going to go across the front. It's going to be a split here. Both boats trying to minimise doing any manoeuvre. There's so much risk in those manoeuvres.
How about the Bonds Flying Roos and Tom Slingsby? Correct me if I'm wrong, Stevie and Hannah. They were in 11th place as they got to mark number 1.
Todd, you're not wrong. That's some comeback there. Slingsby's just fat. But sometimes, again, opportunity presents itself. You might not, in the other races, he didn't get the chance to make a good decision and sail through. So is that luck? Sort of. But it's also that ability to then get the boat going, get it ripping and take full advantage. You look at the Oracle Cloud and you can see actually breeze is quite steady out there, Hannah.
Yeah, it is, but I think that's not necessarily making it any easier because it means there's less kind of passing opportunities. You've got to find space rather than be able to find that wind where it is on the course.
Leg 4 of 6, the 4th and final race of the day here on day number 1 of the DP World Spain Sail Grand Prix. And right now it is Denmark looking to go 2 wins in 4 races as they won race number 2. Looking to back that up, Emirates GBR, they won race number 1. They'd love to get a win here and get 2 in a row.
Yeah, well, again, mid-season, the pressure I felt was really on this Danish team, but there's been a few changes in the background for Rottwell Denmark, and it's really showing some dividends right now, because it's potentially first, but they were also second, weren't they? So it's like a 1-2-1 to end the day here, really. We're going to have a split between Emirates Great Britain and the Blackfoils. Again, the Blackfoils need every point they can get. Emirates GBR, it's been a good first day with the pressure on.
2, 1.
And Los Gallos trying to work their way back up the ladder. They pick up a penalty as they have a boundary infringement, so they will drop back on distance. That gives more room for the Blackfoils to hold on to that 3rd position. Meanwhile, Denmark out in front. They have got 1 more gate, and it's a left-hand turn for home. Blackfoils firmly holding on to 3rd.
Yeah, and they're going to have the right of way when they come back to meet the British here. So there's big opportunity for another place game by the Blackfoils. Los Gallos had to lose 20 metres for going out of boundary, but they're in 4th. Australia somehow, Harry Houdini mode engaged for Tom Slingsby and the Bonds Flying Roos. What a comeback when he needs it. But why are we saying 3-time champion in this SailGP? You know, he knows how to deliver when the pressure's on right now, and it's a big comeback. The main protagonists are all on our screen now. There's a lot of wounds for them to lick tonight, a lot of things to think about, but they might have all just about kept themselves in the hunt.
Tell you what, though, for my money, out of 4 races, you've got to look at the cream of the crop. The 2 best teams, no question about it, today have been Emirates GBR and the team that's about to cross the finish line, Rockwell Racing Denmark. For the 2nd time today, the Danes take a victory in Spain.
Good job up the front. I didn't even get angry this time.
Very kind of you,
Tom.
That's
a plus.
Yeah. Poor old Cayenna's having to pull that wing in and out all day. Emirates Great Britain. Brilliant. You've got to think as well, for all these boats in the top 4, Great Britain, New Zealand, Bond Flying Roos, the Gallos, a lot of pressure on them really here and to deliver. And Emirates GBR have really, really delivered when it's mattered out there today. Great start for them. Really strong position now. Blackfoils on the comeback.
Any chance the Bonds Flying Roos can catch Los Gallos?
Yes, every chance if the Spanish make a mistake. But from what we've seen, it's not been bad to take that right turn where the Spanish have gone. So yes, the Aussies are going to have the right of way when the 2 boats meet, but the Spanish are fast at the moment. Still can't see the Australians. They're going to come from the left-hand side, bottom left-hand corner. There they are. Yeah, no, big lead for the Spanish here. It's going to take a big mistake in this manoeuvre by the Spanish for the Aussies to hope to overtake.
2, 1, lock.
So it will be the Blackfoils holding up for 3rd, just behind of Emirates GBR, who claims 2nd. And Los Gallos now, 1 more turn for them. They've got plenty of room as the Bonds Flying Roos will luckily have to settle for 5th. But tell you what, all things considered, that is a big win for Tom Slingsby's team.
Oh, it's huge, yeah. I mean, that's 6 places gained. It's very, very rare you see that many boats overtaken in a race. And we saw in the earlier races, he got stuck at the back there. Big comeback for Spain. They're in, they live to fight another day.
Mixed results for them, though, Stevie. I mean, 2 good races, 2 terrible races, so it's finding the consistency on Super Sunday.
Absolutely. They've kept themselves in the hunt. My report card would say not good enough, but they've scrapped hard, they've fought hard. They've got to go away and try and work out how to get to Mark 1 in a good position.
Yeah, and it's such an important time of the season, not only for results, but also building confidence going into their last event, so they'll be happy to finish the day on a high for sure.
And by job here, Chris.
Calm voices. Tom Slingsby, the Bonds Flying Ruse, crossed the line, and that is a great comeback from near dead last to 5th. So they back up the last 2 races a day with a 1 and a 5, which is very strong. Meanwhile, out on the course, US SailGP have gotten very slow. They're in the circle. They've got North Star Canada off their right-hand side, and Red Bull Italy, Ruggiero Tito, coming on strong.
Yeah, Red Bull Italy going to try and slingshot inside both of them here. They're up and foiling. They're going to be nearly twice the speed at the moment. But the Americans just get foiling. USA's foiling just in time. Now the Italians are in disturbed wind. They're going to be a little bit slower because of the United States team. It's going to be a drag race, but it looks like Canfield's got the boat in the air just in time.
The battle for 6th will go the way of US SailGP, Taylor Canfield and company. So the first race of the day, the Americans finish in 3rd. They finish the day in 6th. Italy will go 7th. Canada will go 8th.
That was brutal. Yeah, that was unbelievable.
It's that kind of day, wasn't it? It was a pretty brutal, pretty unbelievable day out there. And we see on our screen, we see the Swiss. Remember, they were leading at they were 2nd at one point in this race. They tried to do 2 maneuvers quickly together, fell off the foils. You heard Arno Sarafagis get really pretty irate about that. They were maybe forced into it. Maybe they needed to just be patient. Who knows? I guess that's for them to debrief. But that one mistake sent them from the front of the pack all the way to right near the back.
Speaking of mistakes, Germany had way too many after a great performance that they had across the first 3 races with a 4, 4, and a 3. The German team, Germany Deutsche Bank, will drop back and finish dead last.
Slightly disappointed with the French today. I thought they were potentially going to have a good event here. And I think with the Germans, you know, Eric's Heil and the team, you know, they started phenomenally in the first 3 races. They didn't have a good start in that one. And they're just not at the stage in their development where they've got that ability to really move through the fleet. So if they get out in front, they're good enough to win nowadays.
So Germany will bring it home, and they will finish dead last in 12th. But after a good day, it's a tough way to go into Super Sunday.
Almost racing top here.
1 minute to the start of the finale here at the Rolex Switzerland Sail Grand Prix Geneva, part of the Rolex SailGP Championship, coming up in 50 seconds. So the Germans have put themselves into a good position. Here come the Swiss, come flying in, and late to the party will be the Bonds Flying Ruse, but Stevie, still plenty of time.
Here we go. So Germany have turned back quite early there, and I think the Australians are late in here. I like where the Swiss have manoeuvred. Swiss have manoeuvred well. What Slingsby got up his sleeve? He's going to need to cut the corner. Here he goes. Here comes the manoeuvre from Slingsby. Can the Swiss hook him? I think Slingsby's positioned perfectly. They line themselves up for the start. Right, Germany, you need to wind it up. You need to get going fast here, Eric, because you're late. Rolex pole predictor sits on board Slingsby and the Bonds Flying Ruse. Middle of the line's the favoured place to be, but it's all about execution and timing from here. Australia's off the foils. Germany, Deutsche Bank are foiling fast. Go for the line now. It's go, go, go. No space at the top for the Swiss. Could be a protest at the top of the line there.
Umpires, early start penalty, Switzerland.
Oh, Switzerland tried to force him. That's opened the door for Germany. Deutsche Bank, Eric Heil will lead at Mark 1. Massive lead for the Germans.
And for those broadcasters that need to leave us, you can get all the results on the SailGP social channels, as well as full coverage of this finale between the Swiss, Germany Deutsche Bank, and the Bonds Flying Ruse, as it is all on here in Lake Geneva at the Rolex Switzerland Sail Grand Prix. Here we go. It is Germany Deutsche Bank out in front at mark number 1. They are the Rolex sprint leaders. Switzerland trying to get back into the fight, and it is the Bonds Flying Ruse who will walk away with the 10 valuable season points. We are about to find out, but Mother Nature has filled in nicely. So for those of you leaving us, check on the internet. You'll get all the final results for Stevie Morrison, Hannah Diamond, Lisa Darmanin. I'm Todd Harris. The racing continues on here in Geneva. Who is going to walk away with the big title?
Attention H2? No.
All right, so a great start at Mark 1, Stevie, and now look at this. This is what we've come to imagine.
Mistake by the Germans, Todd. They've fallen off the foils. It's light at the bottom right-hand side of our screen. Bonds Flying Ruse. Does that boat stay in the air? No, it doesn't. Oh, it's so light down in front. That's a let-off there. Had the Bonds Flying Ruse been able to foil, they could have had a chance to get back through it here, and we can see they're sailing nearly perpendicular to the course there. They need to get going straight down towards the gate. They're paralleling their way across those lines. Here we go. Biffle calls it, turning for the manoeuvre in here. This race is going to keep going though, Hannah. It's so gusty and shifty out there.
Yeah, it's by no means over. When there's so much more space on the course, you don't have that congestion which holds the middle of the fleet back. So it's definitely going to be about choosing the right mode. Do you invest in building speed and foiling, or do you sail around the course trying to sail the shortest distance?
Get it down, mate.
It looks like the Australians are going to try and sail a high course here, try and get to that 28 kilometres an hour and see if they can get on the foils, but the Swiss are coming past quick.
We are upwind here.
Yeah, it's tricky because the Swiss have got a penalty for sailing on the boundary, but the way the penalty works is it's relative to your VMG, so that's how fast you can make progress towards the next gate. And the trouble they've got is they're going so much faster than everyone else, they couldn't burn the penalty. But now the penalty's gone, and we can see the two boats right-hand side of the screen are foiling, so they're sailing a lot of extra distance, but Germany are stuck in the water. So it's, can Germany get back up on the foils? Look at the live speeds from the Oracle Cloud. 6 times as fast on the Australian boat as they are on the German boat. If the Australians can stay foiling, this distance will come down in the blink of an eye, but will the German team be able to get up on foiling again?
So the race is on to foil here in the finale. Will Australia be able to keep these speeds up? They're still on the foils right now, Stevie, and they are moving. Switzerland's behind them, but it is Germany, Deutsche Bank that have the lead. They've already gone through gate 2, the DP World Gate, and they have the lead. But look at the speed difference.
Well, he said, do we want to get foiling? I think you definitely want to get foiling if you can, but it's just a question, is there enough? Once you're foiling, Hannah, it's a lot easier to stay foiling than it is to get foiling. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right, and you've got to choose the right spot for it. If you're sailing into less pressure, you might invest in getting up onto the foils and then immediately fall off. Or if you've got a manoeuvre coming up, like the Germans are coming close to that left-hand boundary now.
We go early here, eh? Good pressure.
Good pressure wants to try and not follow. Draper's saying there's more wind to the bottom right-hand corner of our screen. Australia set to manoeuvre first. Germany will match that manoeuvre, but it's going to come down. Australia should be able to execute a better manoeuvre here. They glide through the turn. They're off the foils.
Happy for everyone.
Now it's a game of re-acceleration. 28's the magic number.
28, wait for it, Tommy.
So 28's the magic number. They're there. They should start foiling. Germany are still slow. The Bond's flying roos. Oh, they're silky smooth in this light breeze at the moment, doing a masterful job after a very difficult start. Sailing a lot of extra distance, but they're sailing a lot faster. How's that breeze looking, Lisa?
They're starting to roll up now, buddy.
Patchy out here where Germany is right now. They're in a good gust, so I'm expecting them to pop on the foils, but it's really coming down to these manoeuvres out here. I do think that this rain has come in and made it more patchy. Right now, Germany might just hold on.
Right turn here.
And we are about to find out here a big moment as they approach gate number 3. Remember, it's just a 4-leg race, so through gate number 3 and then off to the finish line. And we've got about a 66% chance of a first here at SailGP. Germany has never won an event. Switzerland has never won an event. The Bond's flying roos, well, they've won plenty.
Here we go. They've just got one more good manoeuvre to do on board that German boat. Lisa was right. There was more wind on the German side of the course. They got foiling. They minimised the distance. Now they're heading downwind towards the finish. They're on to the final leg. They need one more good manoeuvre to make history in Season 5 of SailGP on that German boat. There will be a split though, Todd. Australia are going to roll the dice and take a left turn, but Germany, it's in their hands right now. Execute this manoeuvre, take the prize.
Yeah, they didn't quite land their last jibe, so they'll be trying to work out how they can choreograph themselves a bit better. Making sure they're manoeuvring in pressure is really important as well.
Here we go, watch this.
I go. Yes, I will.
Oh, Stevie, I think they've got it.
Pretty perfect.
Stayed straight for the build, Eric.
They sound calm on board. They're still focused on the right thing, but that finish line's going to come fast and they're foiling. There you go. Where's the mark? That's the most important thing to know. Straight ahead's a great thing to hear.
Straight for it.
It's finished.
100 meters to go here, and it will be official, and it will be a first. Welcome to the winner's circle. The Emirates winning moment goes to the first-time winners at SailGP. Germany, take a bow.
Get in there! Get in there!
Only 3 athletes on board, Stevie, but that's all they needed.
Well, they'll be celebrating in Germany, though, won't they? We know what a big fan base SailGP's got over in Germany, and there'll be huge celebration. Eric Heil, a little bit of emotion there. Nice to see. What a result for the Germans. It's been coming. They've been knocking on the door since Sassnitz. Great result for the Australians. Yeah, a bit gutting for them, I'm sure. They just didn't get the start they needed.
Well, the one thing that might put a smile on the face of Tom Slingsby is that the Kiwis didn't make it into the final. So they're going to pick up some points in the overall on the black foils as the Aussies do make it into the final. So they will pick up the 9 points on the season. And a great run for Switzerland and Sebastian. They just did a great job, Stevie, across the weekend.
They did a fantastic job. I mean, they got a bit out of shape in that pre-start. They perhaps had a better shot at it than they had executed. So they'll be disappointed. They ended up forcing it in front of the fans. But yeah, they're going to be happy with the top 3.
And if you're a Swiss fan of Swiss sailing, you came up for the weekend, how excited you are for this. They're in their final.
Yeah, I mean, it's perfect showing from the Swiss team on the right weekend, that's for sure. And after the disappointment of reaching the final in Portsmouth and not being able to finish that race, they'll be super happy with that, I'm sure.
As they make their way into a very small start box, Stevie, this is a little bit different than yesterday, so tight quarters.
Yeah, this is going to be a really tricky racetrack, and I think if anyone at home's ever played Super Mario Kart, this is going to be Super Mario Kart, but with Mother Nature deciding who gets the rockets and who gets the banana skins. So there's a lot of action going to happen out here. This race will not be over till it's over. Judging the start's going to be really difficult. You could have 800 horsepower or you could have 300 horsepower when it comes, depending on the wind. Right now it's light in the box. Those boats out the back could be struggling. Yeah, look for New Zealand to cut the corner here. It's really light. Boats are going to be slow. New Zealand, Burling cuts the corner. The Aussies, the Roos, they're struggling at the bottom of the line. Pole predictors with the Germans. They've managed to get on a hull. Who can get these boats flying? 15 seconds to go. Emirates, Great Britain and France are trying to thread the needle. Delapierre might save this one at the bottom of the line. I like where Delapierre is right now. Rolex pole predictor still on board North Star. Look for the line to turn. White. Brilliant by the and they're foiling. They're going to be gone at Mark 1 at the moment. Can any of the other boats get up and going and chase them down? North Star are foiling. Top of the Tyne, Italy are foiling as well, as are the Swiss. It's going to be a big drag race for the French here.
And as they approach mark number 1 here in the first race on Super Sunday, as a wise man once said, how's your timing, Quentin Delapierre?
Absolutely smashed that timing, threaded the needle there, and it's now all about finding the wind here. Expect to see Manon at the back of the boat, head on a swivel, not just looking for the other boats there. Dark patch, left side of screen. That's going to be really fueling up the boats behind, but we can see New Zealand still stuck off the foils, top of our screen. The black foils are miles behind, but don't expect that to be the last we see of them in this race.
All the way down.
Super tricky just to even get around that mark. The air's going to be really disturbed around the course. So if you can get ahead, just like the French have done here, it's going to be so much easier sailing for now.
Look at the angle as well, Hannah. Look at the angle they're sailing.
Straight down the course. They've got a really nice shift angle there, but it's going to be quite hard to pull off this maneuver to turn the boat and head back towards the line. So they're going to have to be really accurate with their maneuvers.
So this is like 2 of 6, race number 5. We've got 2 more races with the entire fleet after this, and then the event final. Only the top 3 teams will racing. It is France out in front. North Star sits in second. Emirates GBR on the repaired boat sits in third, and Rockwell Denmark, the speed merchants from yesterday, in fourth.
Really crucial here that you try and pick the course where you think you can stay and wind. You can see the French there have actually turned away from the wind. I'm slightly decided by that decision. A little bit of a random decision for me that. I think straight on for the left turn for Canada is good. They're off the foils here. Could be a mistake by the French. That's going to bring them back into the pack. Canada also decide to take that. There is maybe big wind where Rockwell Denmark are, so they're trying to head back that way.
As they try to get around the DP World Gate here on leg number 2, we check in back on the water with Lisa Darman. And Lisa, any idea why the French and the Canadians would opt for that as a tight Rockwell Denmark drops inside?
Yeah, no higher. Keep fast.
Well, that's where all the wind is, Todd. So in the training, everyone was over there. There's this big gust of wind over there. So I think everybody's prioritizing that side. Now, once you get to that breeze where all those spectator boats are, that's great. But then how do you navigate the next half of the course? That's a real challenge.
So to Lisa's point, you see Rockwell Denmark, Stevie, having no problem keeping their speed up. They make the turn. They're now in first place. And Emirates GBR on the other side of the course.
Yeah, and Emirates GBR have actually stayed in breeze there. I think they could be in good shape here. They're going to really move up these ladder lines quite quickly.
New breeze, top left.
You can just hear the conversation there. It's a little bit heightened, but I think that's because it's such a fast-changing dynamic on the racecourse.
Yeah, I think it's one of those days today where if you can sail the boat without concentrating too much on what you're doing, you've got the capacity to look around, join up those patches of pressure. The Brits have done a really nice job to stay in some pressure there, but they're just slowing down now as they come into some lighter winds.
We've got the small foils on as well, Todd, remember that. So the boat's got the potential to go really fast. But when the wind drops down, all priority's got to go on staying on the foils.
And what a story this would be if Emirates GBR could somehow come back after that collision yesterday at the end of day number 1 and find themselves in a position to battle, to hoist the wheel at the end of the day here in Sassnitz.
You see here in the picture, you see to the left of the screen, it's really dark. To the right of the screen, lighter colour. They're talking about a high mode. They're trying to sail the boat as close to the wind as they can to desperately cling to that more wind, cling to that more horsepower. Here we go. Rockwool Denmark, they decide to turn back, but they're in really light winds here. So there's a lot more manoeuvres going to happen on the race course today as the boats try and find that extra wind to get the extra speed.
Hannah, we hear the term glamour racing being thrown around a lot, but you look at Emirates GBR, this has got to be a glamour situation for them. No boat within 150 meters of them. They have the whole course basically to themselves.
Yeah, I think on a lot of days that would give you a lot of confidence, but actually on a day like today, that lead can go in seconds. You can see at the moment they're just paralleling those laddered lines. They're not barely making any progress up the course, whereas the boats at the bottom of the screen here are in really good pressure, so we expect to see them make a gain out of this.
Yeah, we can see New Zealand, the black foils, right-hand side of the screen, they were miles behind. Burling is so good in these shifty conditions. He's going to probably be top 3 by this top gate potentially here. He's got themselves in good breeze. Rockwool Denmark are back in wind, but you can see them really zigging up this shoreline. That was what Lisa was telling us. This side of the course has, on average, got more wind. And again, in racing on a day like today, it's all about averages. They would die to have our helicopter view of the race course to be able to see what's coming.
So the umpire, Craig Mitchell, the chief umpire, issuing North Star Canada with a penalty as they sailed outside the boundary, just searching for some wind and some pressure. And Stevie, just as you called it, Emirates GBR, look at them. They are at 22 knots, kilometers an hour right now. And here comes Rockwool Denmark and the Swiss.
Yeah, and they're on the inside. Rockwool Denmark going to do a handbrake turn here, 180. GBR are going to try and go back that way, but they're struggling rules-wise. All the boats are going to be able to come inside them here. So Rockwool Denmark are going to look to pop straight back on the foils if they can. Could be the last the fleet sees of them. No, they're not. They're not on the foils. They're struggling, and it's Slingsby's going to split the course. I think there could be breeze that way. You've got to trust Slingsby's seen something.
It really depends on what stage you go round these gate marks. That really influences your gate choice here. So the Australians, Bonds Flying Rouge, they had that option to turn right there, but the Brits really didn't have that option.
Well, I gave Burling the kiss of death, didn't I, there? Look, he's fallen off the foils. The black foils are 9th and not moving really at the moment, but as we've seen, a lot to be done here. Australia and Canada in good state, and they're foiling. They're going to go down a lovely patch of wind, Hannah.
Okay, and board in 2, 1 board. And turning. I got Italy.
Really nice work on that manoeuvre there, making sure they're in pressure to pull it off.
What I just think we've got to remember as well, it's all about getting to that top 3 today. That's all that matters. We're accumulating points in that race to the final. Australia, well, they were well ahead, weren't they, after racing yesterday. And here we go, race to the final points. Left-hand side of bottom left side of screen there. Australia, Denmark, and Great Britain, but Germany as well. The hometown heroes, it's all on here, and we've got a lot more racing to go today. Even in this race, this is far from over.
10 points to the winner of each race, all the way down to 1 point for 10th place. So you can do the math with 3 races, 30 points up for grabs. All Tom Slingsby and the Flying Rouge need to do, Stevie, is just keep themselves consistently in the top 6 or 7, and they are golden.
If only that was easy, Todd. This is not a day where that is an easy task, but they're doing a nice job right now, and you can hear it's changing a lot on the race course all the time.
Here come the Bonds Flying Rouge on the outside. They'll make the left-hand turn, and it is Rockwool Denmark just on their side.
They've got to keep clear of Denmark, Todd. They can't turn until Rockwool turn. There you go, aggressive from Sassnitz, really pushing Australia wide there. Good tactical racing by Nikolai. Might well be a 180 coming back for the Rockwool Denmark team again here. No straight, he's going straight, but Slingsby's going to turn. Slingsby splits, and there is wind where Slingsby's headed.
Turning up here.
Slowly rolling up.
I think this is a good call by the Bonds Flying Rouge right now. This could be an overtake.
Nice pressure in 2. Barn gust on here, buddy.
Really calm comms on board the Bonds Flying Rouge. Tom Slingsby talking with Tosh Bryant, the strategist on the back of the boat.
Stand by here.
You can see here Australia are doing nearly 60 kilometres an hour, and Rockwool Denmark are off the foils 24. Maybe I have still got it, Todd.
I think something that's really hard today is just keeping everything cool, calm and collected. Things are changing so quickly. The boat's pretty hard to sail, and it's going to be about forgetting the bad decisions you make and really trying to learn from the good ones you make.
Popping in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, popping here.
Oh, big relief for Rockwool fans there. If Rockwool can get back up on the foils, and Australia are now getting slow. So Rockwool could well be in good shape again now.
Gives us a good opportunity to go down on the water. Lisa Darman, has anything changed? We're going to check back with you for these updates. But who do you like and what position do you like best on the course right now?
Well, Todd, yes, everything's changing. Everything's changing every 5 seconds. I mean, Australia was looking really good, and now Denmark's back in the game. I think the key today is kind of being really dynamic. You want to be able to move your boat around. You want to be able to stay on the foils when you do those maneuvers, because you've got to do, like, you've got to turn, you've got to tack, you've got to drive maneuver before you run out of pressure, and it's so challenging out here. Emirates Great Britain could be back in this, though.
Yeah, look at this. Emirates Great Britain up to third, and Rockwool Denmark now takes over the top position as the Bonds Flying Rouge turn just below them. North Star Canada also in the mix. So really the same 4 teams, Stevie and Hannah, that we started with. They're back in it as well, and some voices getting elevated on board.
Yeah, right of way, Emirates Great Britain here. Australia and Rockwool Denmark must keep clear. They're both off the foils anyway. Australia is struggling to get back on. Emirates GBR, this is the final manoeuvre here. If they can get past that yellow line, all the way past the ley line, we know there's more wind where Emirates Great Britain are heading on average, so this could be good shape for the British fans.
So just before the boundary, Emirates GBR make the turn, and now the race is on. There you see Red Bull Italy in 10th place. They're going to get lapped almost in this situation, where they are still heading downwind.
Hey, we're crossing, no issue at the moment.
Agreed, staying high here. Yep.
Did a really nice job there just to choose to go H1 out of that manoeuvre. So they're choosing to put that leeward hull in the water and take a higher mode, sailing closer to the wind and closer to that mark.
Yeah, control the controllable sail a bit less distance if you can.
We're going to go straight back here. Building here.
Roll up, big roll up.
Just see when the wind drops off, there's so little you can do. It's just a bit out of your control. But Rockwool Denmark, look, they're up and foiling in the background, but they're sailing across the ladder lines. Top left-hand side of our screens where they're aiming for here. Doesn't look like Emirates Great Britain will get there, so it's going to suddenly be change of situation again. Bonds Flying Rouge have the right of way. GBR need to be confident of being ahead.
Hey, no issues. Denmark tack.
Hey. Hey, H1. No.
Those angles change so quickly in these conditions.
So Hannah Mills jump over to the other side of the boat to keep an eye on Denmark and the Bonds Flying Rouge. And here we go. This is the moment in the race. It's a right-hand turn. There you see the finish line.
Yeah. So can Australia stay foiling? If Australia stay foiling here, or Rockwool Denmark, they could roll right round Emirates GBR very easily here, but it could also turn into a parking lot. Emirates GBR not foiling. Rockwool Denmark commit to the left-hand side. Got to keep clear of the British boat here. All off the foils. Should be good news for Emirates GBR, but there's going to be a park up here. Fletcher will be very, very aggressive.
And a complete roadblock for the Bonds Flying Rouge. Nowhere for them to go. If they opt for the left side, they're going to lose distance. So now the race is on. It's a slow drag race to the finish line in race number 5 on Super Sunday. And the boat that was down and out yesterday is now in the winner's circle, winning race number 5. It's Emirates GBR that takes the win.
That was wild.
Board down. Wow, wait. Board down.
That was pretty full on there, as we can see in the background here. Germany, Switzerland, and the black foils way out the back. There's going to be an awful lot to be done later on here to try and catch back up.
So the top 3 is Emirates GBR, Rockwool Denmark, and the Bonds Flying Rouge. That's your top 3 in race number 5.
And board down. Turning. Going around Canada here.
So now the team's going to do a quick debrief as the rest of the fleet comes in. That'll be the Swiss that'll finish in 8th place. Disappointing for the black foils, Stevie. Drop back to 9th place.
I mean, I think it's just, yeah, as soon as you're in the pack, you start to not be in all that much control of your decisions overall, really. And I think, you know, Burling's normally very good in these conditions. He'd normally really back himself. But if you are back in the pack, perhaps you don't get to get that first pick. So, yeah, pressure well and truly on the black foils if they want to make the final.
We've already got the 3 teams that will compete in the event final near the start box. We are less than, oh, gosh, coming up on 90 seconds to go until this shortened race, Stevie, and we're hearing it's going to be a shorter race than we've seen in the fleet races.
Yeah, just one race, one lap of this race, so, you know, that start is going to be absolutely crucial. But Dylan did mention it is puffy and gusty out there, so there's the opportunity to find more wind and make those overtakes. And, of course, Hannah Mills' strategist, she's got some work to do there if she wants to make that happen. But I think really it's going to be all about Dylan's timing at the start, and then can Hannah find some space on the racetrack.
Nice. Going past at 102.
Okay, Kiwi's in late.
There's the lineup for the Blackfoils. Peter Burling, Leo Takahashi, of course, Blair Tuke on there, Lip Mackay, Louis Sinclair, and Marcus Hansen, the big grinders up front.
They're going to have to be working hard into this pre-start. There's a lot more space on the course, so a lot more opportunity to make sure that boat's going at top speed all the time.
First timers in the final. How about this lineup, Stevie?
It's a big lineup, and they've got a very, very strong grinding setup there. Matt Gottrell, Stu Dodson, absolute powerhouses. So that's going to be good news for Arno Sarafagis on the wing there. Going to be able to get that Swiss boat going fast. And right now, Rolex Pole Predictor sits on the Swiss. We heard that the Kiwis were late, but they're going to dive inside. We're hearing that it will be 2 laps the race course now. So there is going to be plenty to play here. Emirates Great Britain are early back. They're going to struggle. They've got good control, but they're going to struggle to be fast at the gun. I quite like where the Kiwis are at the moment if they're not going to be late. On United, the Great Britain team here turn the boat towards the line. Swiss are coming in fast. New Zealand are going to be slow. It's all about timing now. How's your timing, Seb Schneider at the bottom of the line? Line goes white, and he's absolutely nailed that on board the Swiss boat. The Kiwis were late, and the British team are going to struggle to get over the top from here. Got to keep clear of the Swiss team, but they are not overlapped. Will Fletcher be brave and spin the boat down in front of the Swiss?
And at mark number 1 in the event final, Dylan Fletcher plays it smart, gives room to the Swiss and Seb Schneider. Peter Burling's not out of this just yet, but this is a shortened race, so we'll see how that all plays out. But it is the Swiss that have the controlling position right now as they line themselves up to gate 2.
Well, they've come up with a great move on board the Swiss boat. Burling first to move away here from the fleet. He's going to have to go right, but he's got space. Switzerland and Emirates Great Britain are slow, and all the boats are talking about wanting a right turn. I reckon the Swiss and the British could get real slow here before the mark. Could be an opportunity for the Kiwis to come in fast around the outside.
Yeah, that's right. It looks like the Swiss, are they working down to a drive to take that right turn?
They are, but they're making a meal of it. They've gone way wide. The Blackfoils are going to be right back in this here. They were very slow for that manoeuvre on Switzerland there. Great Britain split the course, and now, where do you see more wind on this race course, Lisa? We've got a split, and the Blackfoils are back in it.
I actually do like where Emirates Great Britain are going. I think the day has changed from before, and you know, it is really tricky out here. Each little patch of the race course is quite different, so I think it's more about sailing the wind that you're in that moment. It's going to be hard to cover.
Yeah, and it's going to be about finding the space on the course on the lift attacks, the tack taking you closest to the mark. The Blackfoils seem to have made good advantage of that poor rounding by the Swiss to get inside and lead that tack back across the middle of the course where they'll meet Emirates GBR.
This one's crucial, this cross here, Todd. We heard Hannah Mills say big lefty. That should favour the New Zealand team. That should mean New Zealand and Switzerland are sailing more straight up the course, and at the moment you can see Emirates Great Britain sailing nearly parallel to our ladder lines, and that's why that lead is hemorrhaging right now. Wind has shifted in the favour of the Blackfoils. Swiss are still in it. Fletcher's going to have to find some magic if he's going to get himself back in this race. The wind speed across the course, well, there's more wind on board New Zealand and Switzerland as well. So not only are they sailing less distance, they're also doing it at higher boat speed.
7 legs in all on this event final, and you can count out the Blackfoils at your own peril. Just when you think Pistol Pete might be out of it, Stevie, he comes up with this, rolls the dice, and absolutely nails it. So now you've got the Blackfoils out in front. Switzerland's dropped back to second, and Emirates GBR goes from first to third.
Sort of become the hunter now. It's so shifty. That could not be the worst thing in the world for the British, but that might be me being an optimist, as the Blackfoils haven't made many mistakes today. And look at the speed on the Blackfoils there. Nearly 5 kilometres an hour quicker on board that boat. They're going to set up for a manoeuvre. They will have the right of way, and if they lead out of this next gate, then it's going to take... Oh, they've made a mistake there. They nearly lost the rudders, or they got very wobbly through there. Not a great manoeuvre. That's opened the door for the Swiss to turn inside. Can the Swiss hang on?
They're going to have a tough time working up to that left turn, but if there's any right-hand rotation in that wind, then they might be able to make it.
Hey, we're in this. We got one and in.
Yeah, they're going to go right turn here at the top here, the British, but so are the Kiwis. That's been the favoured move all day. We got another split, Lisa. We're going to ask you to make the call again. Which way do you like out of this top markers? New Zealand lead at gate 3.
Very nice, guys. Nice.
Well, I do like where New Zealand's going right now, but I think long-term, Switzerland's going to be in a stronger position.
And remember, the Swiss looking for their very first win in an event final. They get to the event final, they check that box, now they're looking for the big prize. Will they walk away with the big trophy at the end of the day? Right now they've got to contend with Peter Burling and Emirates GBR and Dylan Fletcher. This race is far from over, like 4 of 7.
Yeah, good manoeuvre there. We see as Emirates Great Britain, well, they are back in it. Hannah Mills is right. They're very much in the race. It looks like a lead change at the moment, but it's only a paper lead change. We'll see when they come back together. I like the wind shift that the New Zealand crew have. They're sailing nearly straight down the course, making great progress towards the next gate. I think the black foils have boosted out here.
Keep working the deep motor.
And they will have right of way when they come back together, but it's whether they can make it down to that bottom gate without any more manoeuvres.
It's pretty good for it at the moment, doesn't it, Hannah? I like where they're getting, and Burling's calling for the deep mode, so he's saying, let's not go as fast. Let's try and just make sure we make it to this right turn at the bottom. That was where they made the big gain with the right turn. They also made the big gain by having a bit of space. There was a fight between Switzerland and Emirates Great Britain that brought them back into the race. What's going to happen at the bottom here? Does Swiss try and cement second, or do they roll the dice and hope to take a win by splitting away from the Kiwis? It looks like Schneider's hunting the win.
It feels like a risk though, doesn't it? That mark looks like they've sailed a lot of extra distance, and we saw how much Emirates GBR lost from going this way last time.
Yeah, they did. It'll be interesting to hear what wind shift we get here.
That's for sure. That's a good angle, righty, not
It's like righty on the shift, so the Swiss need to really look to take a manoeuvre fairly soon to be progressing up the ladder line a bit more here. It's a battle between Emirates Great Britain and New Zealand on that side of the course. It's going to be hard for Emirates New Zealand to overtake going the same way, but never rule out Dylan Fletcher and crew. They've been going so fast all weekend.
This is very close. Remember, this is like 5 of 7, so it's to the top of the course. They'll come back down, then it'll be a left-hand turn right in front of the Adrenaline Lounge and the packed crowd that have turned out to see this event final here at the Emirates Great Britain Sail Grand Prix in Portsmouth.
Gain to New Zealand. Gain to New Zealand over Switzerland there, and a big one. And Emirates Great Britain are pretty much on their line, so I'd anticipate, as we can see, slightly slower speed on board New Zealand, but they're just trying to claw their way up to the line of Emirates Great Britain, put themselves directly in front of the British and disturb the wind on Emirates Great Britain.
There you see the Rolex chasing time. It is Emirates GBR trying to track down the black foils and Pete Burling. The Kiwis have an 8-second lead right now, but we've seen that evaporate so quickly on these courses. This is going to come down to just a few maneuvers, Hannah Diamond. Can you stick it when you most need it?
Yeah, and you can just see from the body language on the board, the black foils, they're so calm all the time, especially when they're in front. I think they're going to be hard to catch.
Effectively, if the Kiwis make no manoeuvring mistakes right now, easier said than done, then it's their race. They've got it in the bag. But of course, mistakes can happen quite easily out here on the course, and they've got an interesting decision to make. It looks to me like the Kiwis is setting up for a right turn at the top again here, so an extra manoeuvre coming potentially, and they've got to be careful of the British. British have right of way. Burling needs to stick this. Here we go, big moment. Comfy ahead for me there, clear cross. That was well judged, but my lord, that was brave. Swiss are off the foils, Todd. They've got a problem. So this is a straight one-on-one match race here, but massive gain on the right turn. A lot less distance sailed for the black foils here. We're hearing the Swiss are out, so it's a straight fight. Can Emirates Great Britain give the home fans something to cheer?
Problems on board the Swiss boat, so they are done. They will finish in 3rd overall, but the battle is on now. Who will take home the top prize here in Portsmouth? It is the Kiwis on the left side of your screen, Emirates GBR on the right. There are the numbers.
There's more wind on board the New Zealand boat, and that's pretty good news for the black foils, eh, Hannah?
It is, but you can see that trail in the water they've just left. They've just had a big nosedive, managed to recover it okay, but I think there's probably, they're going to be hard to catch, but it's definitely not over till it's over.
So it's going to come down to the final maneuver when they get to the bottom of the course. It'll be a left-hand turn and then a short sprint to the finish line. For Emirates GBR, this would be their first win since Sydney, going back to event number 3. But for the Kiwis, this would be their first win since the first event of season 5. That was in Dubai way back when.
mean, this is two of the Titans, isn't it? So we don't really expect many mistakes here. It still is a bumpy country road that they've got to get it home on, but this is the last manoeuvre. Black foils stick this, and it's in the bag.
Boom. And just like that, Pete Burley shows the rest of the fleet who's in charge. This will certainly shake up the overall standings after 7 events. But the winners of the Emirates Great Britain Sail Grand Prix in Portsmouth, it will be the Kiwis, the Black Foils. It is your Emirates winning moment.
Boom, indeed, Todd. That was clinical, and they looked like they'd made a bit of a mistake at the start as the fireworks go off in the background. It's all happening on Portsmouth seafront there. What a shot that is. Great result for Emirates Great Britain. But yeah, amazing race, just clinical from the Black Foils.
So the Kiwis get it done, and they spoil the party for Emirates GBR. You go back to when this race was contested, Stevie, back in, I think it was Plymouth in season 3. And again, it was the Kiwis that won that event. So they obviously know these waters or this southern part of the UK. I know it's a big stretch of land, but wow, they seem to do well here.